creates it makes the opposite side of something.
Yeah, it does the impossible.
He enhances it so much that he is able to move stuff in the environment.
Yeah, that's what you need. Like where's the movie enhanced filter? You know, you could take like a shitty like small 72 DPI image and blow it up to like some kind of 4K ultra thing where I can see everybody's face. There he is. There's the guy.
He's over there. All right, there we go. All right, what's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 208. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Brian Manjoma. Hey, people. And Brett Murdoch.
Howdy, folks.
Oh, man, it's fun to impersonate Mr. Brian's. All right, so we got a couple things here before we start.
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. What's going on, Brian?
What's going on, people?
How's the queen? How's the queen, man?
She's fine. She's safe now.
Implying she wasn't safe before, you know. Anyway, so yeah.
When I was on the podcast.
Yeah, that is true, man. That is true. All right, so we were just talking about this like seconds before we started, but yeah, we are not gonna have any more Kingdom Hearts streams from Riku. I think he's fed up with the game. He doesn't want to stream it anymore. He's like, I'm just gonna play it on my own time. Like,
I want to ask him, what's the problem, man? What's going on?
Well, you and I were talking about this. Like, Riku has like a little bit of a low tolerance for some games, you know.
Yeah, he was pretty heavy on Final Fantasy VII, and I know at least some of the streams that I watched off of this one that he did, he's getting a little bit frustrated with the way the game was. So I can understand it. Some of those things don't some things don't age well, so.
Yeah, and I think, he doesn't want to be obligated to play it, so, we're not going to force him.
Well, it's like, the thing is, it's like if he couldn't, the way, at least the way I always saw it, it's like, if he can, he can. If he can, he can. So
pretty much, so because of that, we're going to pick up the slack. And Chris, you already said you're going to do some stuff, aren't you?
That's right. So Round of Blood Part 2, The Revengeance.
Yes.
We're going for Dracula. We're going for blood. Or wait, he's going for my blood, so I'm going to take his blood. Fuck that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, that was a fun stream you did the other night too. A lot of craziness in there. I liked how you were complaining about all the enemy types and stuff. Like, oh, this thing's so annoying. Oh, there's the Medusa. Oh, god damn it.
Oh my god, all the frustrating things with Castlevania were there. The fucking Medusa heads, and I'm pissed. Like, yo, in Castlevania when you got hit, especially on NES, you get like maybe a couple of seconds of invincibility. You get a couple of seconds to gather yourself together. This game, half a second, barely, and so they can just spam you with hits. It's annoying.
That's crazy, man.
I need to do some push-ups to get good.
Yeah, right. Crack that whip,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, all right. So without further ado, let's get into it. I rearranged. What's up, man? What you got, man? You got something? You got?
Well, you know what? We'll do the other. We'll do that toward the end. So let's go. Good. So keep going.
What, you fucking me up, and now you're like, go for it. Say what you're gonna say now, man.
Well, yeah, I was okay. I want to thank everybody for showing up on the previous Throwdown Draw stream. There will be obviously being one next week. Also, be sure if you're on YouTube, we are just uploaded that one. So good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking about that, I'm going to do my, it's probably still going to be Red Dead Redemption stream, but I'm going to have to put a spoiler tag there for a reason Manny knows. Like,
yes.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Cause I'm at a point I'm like, oh, I can't even stream this without spoiling stuff. So I'm just going to put
let's just say you just seeing the state of the game is a huge spoiler.
Yeah, exactly. There's aliens everywhere. It's crazy.
I knew it.
Oh man. All right, so let's get into it. Again, I rearranged the question order around because I wanted to have this one first. We were talking about this a little bit before the show. It's gonna get interesting here. So Spacey's Pleasure Yacht asked us, what are your thoughts on the whole Diablo Immortal outrage? All right, so for you guys who do not know, BlizzCon happened this weekend, and on Friday they had the keynote, right? And at the very end of the keynote, they hyped this reveal up to high hell, right? And what was it? Was it Diablo 4? No, it was Diablo Immortal. It's a mobile game basically, and the response was pretty tepid. but things just got worse from there. Like they opened up the Q&A. Yeah, they opened up the Q&A when guys like, hey, is this coming to PC? And they're like, oh, we don't have plans for that. The audience booed, and then the developers, their response was, don't you guys have phones? Don't you guys have phones? It's like, oh, here we go. And then this one guy,
one of the worst things I've heard a game company say in years.
Yeah. My favorite one, I'm pretty sure this is your favorite too. That one guy who came up with like, is this an off-season April Fool's joke?
Yeah.
Yeah, but of course, and we're going to cover this from all angles. Like, obviously, the response from Blizzard, the fact that this game is made by a Chinese company that has made Diablo clones, and how gaming journalists are now slamming gamers as being toxic assholes, as usual. So who wants to go first? Who wants to dive in here?
Oh, this is going to just be a cage brawl.
Yeah, go ahead, Brett. You start us off, man. We'll jump in.
Look, I think the tent pole of the issue here is that they hyped this shit up so much. They got Blizzard fans really excited by marketing directly to them. And I think the crux of the problem here is that they should know that Diablo fans are not who this game is aimed towards. And I'm pretty sure that they do know that. They know that it's not their hardcore entrenched audience that is going to play Diablo on their mobile phone. They're seeking to broaden their horizons and tap into other markets that they haven't tapped into. So the thing that really just gets my gall, because that doesn't make it any better, because the thing that gets my gall then is, so they hyped up a product to a core group of people who have been supporting them, and then essentially revealed, we're not making anything for you, and then got upset or didn't understand why those people then got upset. Like, it's fine. Nobody's saying you can't make a Diablo game for mobile or whatever. Like, I don't think that's the cardinal sin here. I think the big deal is hyping up and being like, and we made something not for you. Oh, don't like it? Fuck yourself. It was just very fuck gamers. Like, it. Yeah. And I get really sick of this conflagration between, like, there's the mobile gaming industry and then there's all other gaming. If you drew a Venn diagram of these two, they'd pretty much just be two dots on the opposite side of a piece of paper. Like, there's not really any overlap. And that's causing a huge amount of problems. It's causing a huge amount of problems with the way journalists are dealing with it, because they don't fucking understand the response either. Like, yes, mobile gaming is a thing, and it is predominantly dominated by women. And that's where a lot of the statistics of, like, yes, about half the audience of total gaming in general is women. But you have to understand who you're marketing this towards. You can't pitch a mobile game to a hardcore audience and expect them to be happy with it. And then the response of, what, you guys don't have phones? Like, that was, oh my God, that I heard that one around the world. That was like Sony's get a second job comment.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was bad. It's like, dude, you're just like throwing gasoline into that fire right now. By the way, the whole point, because I saw some guys talking about, like, oh, these are toxic, gamers or whatever, because the fact that they think mobile gaming is for women. I never saw it like that. To me, mobile gaming is just like toilet gaming. It's not really gaming. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you're not going to sit down for 6 hours to play a fucking mobile game. You do it when you're taking a shit or when you're on the bus or whatever. Statistically, yes, I understand that mobile gaming, has more women, but I personally never saw it like that. I just saw it for, it's a group of people that don't really want to invest in gaming. They're just, they just want a little quicker distraction. Hey, they're on the line in the supermarket.
But the thing is, at the same time, I also think because the fact, a lot of mobile gaming is the amount of money that you end up making off of mobile gaming can be sometimes more than actual AAA games, and the cost of making those games is lower, and that's what they're trying to do. And to be honest, it makes sense for current Blizzard right now. What are the games that these guys are producing? They're producing games that are constantly, just constantly pulling money. They're not things that are meant for specific gamers. You know what I mean? Like Overwatch, what does that thing do? The minute that you're into that ecosystem, what are they dependent on? They're dependent on microtransactions and you buying costumes. For World of Warcraft, what are you paying for? You get that game, you have a subscription service on top of it. All of their titles at this point in time are these sorts of evergreen money titles, which constantly pull money from you. So them going towards something mobile makes absolute sense. But at the same time, putting that thing, something like that, at a Blizzard convention, totally goes against the other half of the portion of Blizzard where they are the kind of heavy duty sort of gamer. You know what I mean? The guys who've been there since World of Warcraft, the original Warcraft.
Since Warcraft, yeah,
those sorts of people. You don't go to those guys and say, "Hey, yes, we're making a new game that you love. We know you love Diablo on a mobile title."
As one of those guys, fuck you, Blizzard.
Yeah. You don't go out and say that stuff. To be honest, that shouldn't even have been. They should have known better, and that should have never have been the focus of that show.
Yeah,
that should have been the thing in the beginning, and be like, they should have said, "Yes, we understand. We understand that you really want a new Diablo. We are making a new Diablo game, but at this point in time, it's going to be a mobile game." And then that's it. Don't even leave it. Just put that thing out there, and then that's it. But then we're hearing like situations where like, oh, hey, Blizzard's surprised at the reaction. What did you think? Who do you think goes to your convention again?
Right, but they pitched that at a convention full of their consumers and fans, where that speech was really for their shareholders, right?
Yeah,
It's like that's another example of like pandering to the shareholders and try to feed it to your friends, and then they're getting pissed like, oh, why won't you accept this like turd that we put sprinkles on for you? Because nobody asked for that, right? If you're going to announce that, there's one of two ways. You do it either the way Manny said it, or you waited till you had Diablo 2 remastered and say, here's something for you guys. We know you wanted to play Diablo 2. Here it is in all its 4K glory and whatnot. And we're putting it on Switch and PS2, PS4, Xbox, everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's happy. And by the way, we got this fucking mobile game too.
Yeah, exactly. Announce it alongside a mainline franchise like Bethesda did with Fallout. Nobody gave a shit when Fallout Shelter came out because they're like, yeah, we got Fallout Shelter and Fallout. It was oh, okay, cool.
They had something that made all the fans happy at the end. It's like, but then you go to a certain game like, oh, I don't know, Command & Conquer. You remember that? Remember that situation where they literally focused on like I don't know 10 or 20 minutes to people playing a mobile Command & Conquer game that nobody cared about.
Yeah, it's the whole tone deaf thing that surprises me. You know what I'm saying?
Are you legitimately telling me that you guys do not know your audience?
Apparently they don't. Apparently they don't.
That apparently that you think that everybody will just follow this established franchise anywhere it decides to go. No, that's not the way it works.
Well, that's what they think. Because here's one of my favorite lines. Mostly coming from journalists, are saying, "Oh, Blizzard is under no obligation to make the kind of games you like." And to my response to that is, yes, that is true. They are under no obligation to do that. But the fans are also under no obligation to give them money for this thing that they don't want. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty simple.
Here's the one thing about like the internet these days. Now everybody kind of has a voice. Can voice what they like or dislike. Back in the old days, they used to reveal something that nobody cared for, right? And you didn't have anywhere you could say, "Oh yeah, this looks stupid," right? Or send out a bunch of unlikes onto something. But nowadays you can. And nowadays, since all of that information is out, now, to be honest, most gamers don't actually listen to, to these companies. They listen to other gamers. And other gamers are not happy, and they weren't happy with that. So then Go ahead.
I'm just going to say these tactics aren't going to work anymore. So when Activision calls up Kotaku or Polygon, whatever, I'm just calling them out. And they say like, hey, we got to damage control this bullshit. And you guys go virtue signal because you're now become attack dogs of the industry. That's why you could go fuck yourselves because you got no integrity. Like this isn't you're not virtue signaling because you give a shit about women game or mobile gamers or anything. You're interested because Activision told you to go out there and say something to pull these things in. And you know what that does? That just drives people away. I can't wait to see the next BlizzCon when you can't even fill half that auditorium next time because you pull this bullshit.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
and
no,
I want to disagree with
yeah,
Tony. They are obligated to make this game. Like, here's the thing: like, nobody has a gun to their head, and I guess it depends on how strongly you want to use obligation. But we all know the whole point of a franchise game, if we can just acknowledge the elephant in the room here for a moment, is that you draw in fans. There's kind of this unwritten agreement that, look, you keep delivering this kind of content with the characters that I like, and I will keep paying you money for it. That's I know that that's not written down anywhere, but that's pretty much the thing that they're hedging on every time they release a game, and that's where longstanding fans that support their consoles or their franchises or whatever come from. And to a certain extent, as a small business person myself, like, your relationship with the obligation or your relationship with your customer and maintaining that relationship is absolutely 100% your fucking obligation. If I went to McDonald's tomorrow and ordered a cheeseburger and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we sell sweaters now," I would be justifiably pissed.
McDonald's would never say, McDonald's would not ever say to you, "Oh yeah, we only sell sweaters." They'd be like, "Oh yeah, we sell hamburgers and we also sell sweaters."
And that's fine because they're committed.
Because the thing about McDonald's is they spread themselves to multiple things.
They do.
But they will never get rid of the Big Mac. That would be a big deal.
Because they are obligated to their customers in a certain sense and fashion.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I want to jump on that certain sense of fashion. This goes back to the thing we were talking about, like, hey, if you don't want to make cakes for a certain person, that's your right to. But you also have to understand that you're going to lose a lot of business. Same thing with this. Yeah, you have no obligation to make that game for your fans, but understand your fans aren't going to buy any bullshit from you, and you're going to lose money. So if you want to, pretty much slit your wrist, you go right ahead. That is your right to do so. Understand what comes with it, though.
Okay, but we say, like, obligated, though. Like, other than literally somebody holding a gun to their head, they don't have any more obligation.
Okay, you know what? Let's take the. I think we're getting hung up on that damn word. Let's take the word obligated out of there. Let's take it out of there. Let's just say Blizzard doesn't
owe it to their customers.
Well, here's the thing. They don't owe it to the customers, but at the same time, if they don't give the customers what they want, they shouldn't be surprised when the customers revolt. Yeah. Understand?
No, I won't even say that, dude. They hyped this up as the year of Diablo. People went to that con, spent money, rented a hotel room, took time out of work to go hear the big Diablo announcement, and it turns out to be a fucking mobile phone game. There were people that had taken a vacation think this might be Diablo 4 because that's what Blizzard led them to believe. So absolutely they're obligated to deliver on a promise of big news when they say that they're going to have big news.
The news is big to a certain extent.
I think it's two different things. Like, I agree with Tony 100%. Like, you sure, you have to appeal to your customers if you want business, right?
Yes.
It's just practical business. You give the people what they want. People are going to walk away from you. This is a perfect example. If I was making toilet paper and then all of a sudden I say, you know what? Sandpaper is a lot cheaper to make. Why don't you just wipe your ass with this? People go, what the fuck is this shit? I'm not buying this anymore. I'll go back to Charmin or whatever. And then I lose business, right? That I'm not giving people what they want. That's what happened here. Now I understand what you're saying, right? But you're coming from a different place. They hyped up the wrong thing. They peddled a lie to people. They made them think this was Diablo 4 or Diablo 2 remastered, some ultra remaster or could have been 1 or 2 repackaged, right? That's what people went in thinking, and they let them keep thinking it. They kept hinting at it. And then you get there, you sit down in that auditorium, like you said, blow hundreds of dollars in a hotel room. You're all hyped up. You're on the hype train. And guess what? It's a mobile game, and it's like a giant middle finger. It's like they trolled everyone in that room, right? But that's a different thing. That's not like, oh, you have to give the customers what they want. Don't lie to your customers at the same time.
Yeah, you can't lie to them, obviously.
Okay, well, here's where I'm coming from. So if I make an appointment with a customer to do a tattoo on a Friday, right? And I don't show up. Like, I just don't show up. Like, am I in the wrong? I mean, it's my right to not go in, to not make my money, to not take that business. I haven't taken any money from them. I'm just losing out on money myself, but I'm still obligated to my client, aren't I?
Well, I mean, it depends on circumstances,
Yeah.
but sure. Like, but also at the same time, if you do that and the customer goes, "Yo, this motherfucker stiffed me," he goes on Yelp or whatever and gives you bad reviews, and then your word of mouth becomes bad, and guess what? You lose business. So it's on you
I think we lost
to
Chris.
schedule.
Chris, say that last part again. It's up to you.
Oh, it's up to you to either contact your client and reschedule, right, or show up, right, or and that's how you run business. But what they did, this is two different things. What I think what Tony said is right. Like they don't have no obligation, but if you want good business, you know what the people want. They sit there, they got Twitter, they got Facebook, they got all this stuff. They could go on forums, they could go on Reddit and see that people were freaking hyped for either Diablo 2 remastered or Diablo 4. They knew that shit. And they wrote it all the way here just to give them a mobile game. That's some shady bullshit. And that's why people are mad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like there's a legal obligation.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying like if you are known for one thing and you stop giving people that one thing, yeah, it's your right to no longer do that, but you also do not have the right to complain when people don't buy your shit anymore. That's what I'm saying about this situation. You know,
the only problem I have with that is the name.
Oh, go ahead.
what happened?
The only problem I have with that is the name. Like if I open up a package of Oreos and I have they're hash browns and I'm like, what the fuck? And I call up Oreo and they're like, oh yeah, we're making hash browns now. You should look at the package. It says Oreo hash browns.
Yeah, and now you no longer give them your business.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
That, but that's like technically and morally you are correct. I want to emphasize that. But I want to say like it's the whole idea of like colloquialisms, that there's this kind of unspoken language / bond / agreement that we all use to work together socially, right? And like when they're saying this is going to be Diablo, when they're using
here's the thing,
they're intentionally misleading you.
Yeah, you and I are we're talking about two different things. I just realized that now. You're talking about, hey, they promised this. My thing, I'm saying, hey, they're allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. But the customers are allowed to not give them money. We're talking about two different things. I think that's where we're kind of. Yeah.
We agree on that so much that's why I'm kind of splitting hairs a little bit. And that's why I'm asking, like, do you think there's a social obligation that franchises / companies have to customers? Like is Bethesda kind of obligated to keep making Elder Scrolls games?
No, they're not. They're not obligated. You know, they could run the business as much how they want. But the thing is, like, okay, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, there's companies who change direction. If you think about, like, look at Naughty Dog, right? You go from Jack and Daxter to The Last of Us, right? Just completely diametrically opposite fucking things, right? But people still love it, right? You could read the room, you could experiment, you could try new things. That's not to say like Bethesda's not gonna keep writing. They know where their bread and butter is. We saw Doom Eternal, so they know they're not stupid enough in this case to go, hey, you know what, you love Doom, come to our next event and go, oh, we got Doom on mobile, is that what you guys wanted? Yeah, no, that's what your shareholders wanted, and you peddle that lie all the way to the show. That's what happened here. And see, the thing is, like, yeah, they Bethesda could go, we're done with Elder Scrolls, you know what, we want to make action adventure games like Uncharted or in the vein of Tomb Raider, and they could certainly do that and experiment and then fall on their face, right, if it's not good. But if it's a good experience, like, I think people would take it, right? You got to try, you got to put it out there. But in this case, this is different. This is putting a label on a game. By the way, that's the other fraud they perpetrated, saying that this was built from the ground up when this is just aped off of a Chinese mobile game. Yeah. You know? So this is some bullshit, man. That's why people are mad. What is hard to understand about that? That's not you, Brett. I'm talking to the fuckheads out there, toxic masculinity. Fuck you. People are mad because this was a lie on multiple fronts. They rode this hype train, which was bullshit, and then they took a game that already existed and reskinned it and called it Diablo. That's fucked up.
Dude, no, this is all just a fucking smokescreen, and I can show you exactly how they're doing it. Tony!
Yo.
I need an assistant here. Do you believe that mobile gamers are real gamers?
Oh, you fucking asshole. Technically, yes, they are real gamers because they play video games. So, yes, they are real gamers. Are they hardcore gamers? No, they're not. They're not. There are two different, like, cultures going on here. Basically, mobile gamers are, you know, and I'm using this like technically speaking, casual. They play on the toilet, on the train, on the line, at Key Food. That's those type of gamers. Us, we get on the front of our TVs or PC monitors. We play for fucking hours. Very different cultures there. So no, I'm not gonna take
so worlds, right? Like
they're those very different worlds. But I'm not gonna say they're not real gamers because they are.
I get
you know,
okay.
yeah.
So let's just say that they kind of move in a different ecosystem, right?
Yes.
Not necessarily your market, your hobby. You know, it's its own separate thing, right? Well, now we're all fucked. We're all damned because essentially, the mobile platform is overwhelmingly women. And so now it can be interpreted that anything that you say about them not including the same spaces or not enjoying the same hobbies, I mean, essentially you're just gatekeeping, Tony. All you're doing is saying that
I'm not saying gatekeeping, like
same hobby, or it's not the same hobby. No, but that's how it's interpreted.
Oh no, I got you. But my thing is like, listen, if you want to be a mobile gamer, fine by me. I got my thing, you got your thing. All these things exist for different types of people, and that's fine. But I just don't like the whole thing of Blizzard coming out here. They basically feel they're obligated, or they feel like their fans are obligated to give them money because they're giving them another Diablo game. That's the thing I have a problem with. You know, like they're coming in with this entitled attitude. It's like, oh yeah, we make these games for you. Now give us more money for something you don't like. We don't care if you don't like it. Give us your money. That's the part I have a problem with. You know,
what the journalists are saying. The best analogy I can come up with off the top of my head is if we sat here and said, on a cold, windy day, dresses are chilly, right? That's something we could all probably agree on. Well, then they would look at it and say, oh, so you're saying women are just always cold? Like, no, I'm saying the dudes that wear dresses are just as chilly. I'm just saying something that's not pants in cold weather is cold. That's all I'm saying. Like, well, so you're saying that women are overwhelmingly cold. No, women just happen to wear more dresses than men, but I'm not making any statement about fucking women. I'm just making a goddamn statement about dresses. We're talking about
that was such a stupid statement by some of these people. By the way, I want to get to some comments here. My man Blasian, good friend of mine, he goes, mobile gamers, console gamers, and PC gamers are not mutually exclusive, though. I think there's plenty of crossover and intersectionality these days. There's definitely some, but there's definitely some.
But I think that also to it is also not knowing your audience to think that your audience would probably blindly follow you into a realm where this franchise was never established. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, I feel like if they were to make this game, right, and they also tried to do it because they didn't call it if it was a numbered Diablo game, people would be even more irate about.
Burned that.
Yeah, if this was Diablo 4, man.
If they said this was Diablo 4, right, they would have fucking burned the building down. Just plain and simple.
Exactly.
You know what I found really funny about this? The booing came after. Like, there wasn't quite that much booing, and then a guy came up and almost sheepishly asked, so is this going to be coming to PC? Which to me said, like, the fans were literally just going to be like, I mean, can we play this mobile game on our PC at least? And Blizzard said no, and that's when they're like, oh, boo, fuck you.
No, it's even more like adding to the fire, because it's like, number one, it's like, okay, yes, this is okay. It's right now, it's a mobile game, and then after that, they're like, nope, it's not coming to anything else.
Yeah, I was watching Rich from Review Tech, and he said that if they would have said, hey, this is also coming to PC, it would be more of a 50-50 split. You know, people would be like, I don't want this. But the other half would be like, hey, you know what? At least we get it, you know?
At least we get it. We're getting it on PC. But then again, it's like also like how much of a change of a Diablo game is this going to be? Like, is it going to be, how mobilized is it going to be?
Yeah, by the way, quick comment here. Blasian says, folks blindly follow companies. Oh, that is true. He goes, they're also trying to reach into experimental territory. It's all about money, and it's up to the fans to not buy it. Can't blame capitalism for saying that. We said that right at the top.
We said that right at the top.
We basically said we have absolutely no issues with them coming out with a mobile. Why not? Like, you should put out a mobile version. Get everybody, But if you but you also have to please the guys that have been with you from the beginning. And I guarantee you, I'm making a broad generalization here, but I'm going to say it. Most of those guys in that room that were booing, I can tell you right now, they're not mobile game fans. They're hardcore PC gamers. That's what Blizzard is basically for hardcore PC gamers. And now they're on consoles too, but they ain't playing no mobile games. I could guarantee you that. you know what I'm saying?
I even think that even some of those those games, like those games like Diablo, still didn't do amazingly on console. It's still all about the PC.
By the way, because Blasian, he's a huge Final Fantasy guy. This is what he goes. I agree with what you guys are saying. If Square Enix were to say Final Fantasy 16 on mobile, I'd burn their headquarters. Damn.
Exactly. There you go. Right? Yeah. And then imagine this. Like not just like they announce it on mobile. They tell you Final Fantasy 16 is coming. Don't say shit. Get you hyped up for a year. Square holds an event. You go there. You buy a plane ticket and a hotel room for them to tell you that shit is on iPhone. Yeah, you'd be fucking furious.
Yeah. The other thing is, I guess I just think okay, I understand that they want to hit the mobile world, right? But at the same time, they really should have had something in there for the folks that are.
Dude, you could have had because here's the thing, because people are saying, oh, they don't even have Diablo 4 ready. Do you need to get me ready? You slap a logo, dudes will lose their minds. Look what happened with Smash Brothers. Look what happened with Smash Brothers. They had a fucking logo. People went nuts. You have Diablo 4. That's it. People will forget about the mobile thing. They wouldn't even care anymore.
They'll be like, they show that thing, and they'll be like, also. Yeah. And they're like, oh, there's a Diablo 4.
That should have been a priority right there. People would have sat through that Immortal shit. They wouldn't have cared. You just show them that logo. Okay, we know you guys are bummed out. Watch this bull.
Yeah.
And then to give a little bit of taste to get people to maybe come and see what their new mobile Diablo game is going to be like. You put a thing on there, and if you play Diablo mobile, you get a exclusive preview for Diablo 4.
Yo, that would be insane. People would buy that fucking game.
Yeah, people will buy that shit like it's no fucking tomorrow.
I like what you're saying.
And then that's how you get people into the ecosystem.
Yeah.
And don't read us wrong. Like, we're all, like Tony's been saying, we're all for, like, they're free to do whatever they want. You got to realize, like, customers can have an opinion too. If they don't like this shit, they're not going to buy it. Obviously, you read in the room, they're not going to give you money for this shit, man. Mm-hmm. They were pissed. But here's the thing, like, this is worse than the EA thing with Command and Conquer, because that, at least that E3, you could go to a bunch of events, there's a whole bunch of announcements or whatever. Nobody was, I doubt many people were there writing on what EA was going to say, right? Mm-hmm. Only, right? You hear a whole bunch of news. That's E3. This is BlizzCon. This is all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they got. So dude, that's what stings.
Oh my God, they could have made this one of the most successful mobile games ever. If you download it, because it's free to play, right? If you download this game, you'll have instant access to the beta for Diablo 4. Oh my fucking God, the servers would crash. Yeah. That's how you do it, but anyway, they wouldn't do it because it makes too much sense, right?
No, they were expecting everybody to be excited, and the thing is that, again, it's one of the thing about it is that the mobile games in general make a lot of money, and that's
to shareholders. I'm like telling you, these guys are on Reddit, they're on forum, they see what people want. You knew what was coming to that conference, and you still peddled this shit because that wasn't for us or your Diablo fans or Blizzard fans or gamers. That was for your shareholders to say, hey, we're breaking into the mobile market. Look at Blizzard breaking it. Look at us. Aren't you going to invest? Right? That's some bullshit.
It's crazy. Anyway, before we move on, Brian, any thoughts on this?
I just find it really funny how the people that complain about tits in video games are saying that gamers are entitled. It's a very weird world we live in. But yeah, I pretty much agree with pretty much everything that you guys have said. It just reminds me of that Simpsons meme of like, am I the one that's out of touch? No, it's the kids that are out of touch.
No, it must be the kids.
No, the children are wrong.
It's like this is like one of the most out of touch things I've seen in a long while. It's like, how do you like? Did they not watch the EA conference when people were like, "Hey, Command and Conquer on mobile"? No one gives a damn, and they're like, "Hey, Diablo on mobile." People will care. Like, no, gamers gamers that go to your places don't care about mobile games. Yes, they have mobiles because they have mobiles, but they don't game on them because they have consoles, they have PCs. They game on those things, I don't know. Just it's weird, odd weird. And And all the damn the fucking journalists, man. They're just oh.
Don't you love the logical conundrum that is like, don't you guys have phones? Yes, we all do. And if they were good enough to game on them, we would be.
We also have money, which you guys are not going to get now.
Like, yo, can I plug this into my TV and play it then? Because I ain't played on this shit.
But all, all the mental gymnastics going around the journals where they're like, oh, phones have become powerful. Really? Really? A phone can pull off what an RTX 2080 can do, right? You build a hardcore gaming PC. So I could just do that on my phone? Oh, no, you can't. So comparing the two is ridiculous.
So stupid.
I've seen arguments like that. It's like, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, I've seen that too. My thing is like, listen, my issue isn't even the graphics. It's the interface. Like, my hand is covering up 75% of the fucking screen. You know? Come on, man. Nobody wants to play that nonsense. Anyway, let's move on. Good topic there. Next up. Go ahead, last thing. One last thing.
One last thing.
Hey, Blizzard. If power behind games doesn't matter and it's all relatively the same experience, why did Diablo just now come to Switch?
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, people weren't complaining about that. They weren't complaining. So it's not about the power, you know?
Nope.
No.
It's not about the power. Oh, God.
You know what the answer is, Brett? You hate women, obviously.
You're fucking... Oh, man. All right. Expose. That's it. Send this man to jail. Throw away the key. That's it. You're a monster. All right. Moving on here. Mr. Figs. Oh, by the way, the next few questions are about Red Dead Redemption 2, baby. All right. Mr. Figs, he goes, why is gameplay and controls not considered in Red Dead Redemption 2 reviews? I'm shocked they got 97 on Metacritic. Bad controls. Ooh, we're going to get into this one. Bad, quote-unquote, bad controls is a subjective thing. Adam says the game has bad controls. I don't. So it's not a universal thing.
But here's the thing about the game, though. You can adjust all of that sort of stuff. That's exactly what Adam did. So he essentially, fixed up, made the aiming a lot more consistent. He adjusted a bunch of different things to make the game the way he wanted it to. See, the thing is, though, at least not as a person that I haven't played it, but at least listening to the way these guys is, I know that Grand Theft Auto games and those sorts of Rockstar games are never usually perfect. As far as consistency, but you've made those concessions because of just you're used to the way those sorts of games control. So I definitely think I almost feel like the control thing is kind of a moot thing, especially if you already can adjust every single portion of how you want to play that game, from the heads up display to the way you aim to even the way you move, you traverse and move around.
I gotta say though, I've kind of flip-flopped on this in the last week. I've gotten to a little bit more time into Red Dead, and I gotta say it does feel a little clunky, and at times is frustrating, and like you can't, like, for instance, you almost have to go in, at least I have to go into first person mode to find and loot things that are like under wagons, like strong boxes and whatnot, and that's incredibly frustrating. That would not be acceptable in any other game but a Rockstar game. So like there is some weird stuff, and there is some clumsiness going on, and it goes beyond the controls too. Like, while we're on the subject, kind of, the voices and the mouths don't sync up with what they're saying outside of cutscenes. There have been,
what they're doing though with those things. It even happens in Uncharted. It's not, they're not putting on they're not giving them full sync, full sync, because a lot of that's a lot of stuff costs a bit of extra memory.
Most games don't do that. They only save it for the cutscenes. Yeah, but I'm
talking like these are Godzilla bad. Like, it is.
If they're Godzilla bad, how come I haven't noticed it until you said it?
I don't know. Like, usually if I look for it, I can see it. But this one, I was like, man, like, I want to say there was like a point in which my guy stopped talking and like his mouth kept moving for like 2 more seconds. I was like, Jesus.
I think though those situations, especially when when they're not fully shown on screen, when they're just kind of walking around in the environment, they just give them a general open closed mouth for the amount of for any sort of talking. You know what I mean? And they're probably also it's using algorithm which listens to essentially if a character is talking, they move the mouth rather than specifically creating any sort of vowels.
Oh no, I'm not even
any
saying like
consonant.
I don't even care about the puppet mouth. It's just it's not puppet mouthing at the right times, and like it's off enough that I've noticed it on a few different occasions. Like, don't get me wrong, I was actually going to kind of pose the question. Maybe this is a good time to do it. Like, what are you guys actually finding a little bit disappointing about Red Dead, or a little bit lackluster? Because as much as I love the game, there are things about it that aren't perfect in my opinion. I don't think it deserves a perfect score.
No, well, no, you know my stance. No game deserves a perfect score. But
that's the general. I'm assuming we're talking about the elephant in the room. That basically, there's a lot of people going sitting around right now saying, you know, this game is good, but it's not perfect. Why is it getting all these perfect scores? I'm essentially reading that that's the context of this question.
My thing with his question is with the controls, because he says they're bad. I don't think they're bad at all. As a matter of fact, when I was playing last night, I was like, yeah, like especially the gunplay, I fucking love it. I think it's great. And and just to get out there, I haven't made a single adjustment to any of my controls. I'm playing pure default, and it works perfectly for me.
Are you playing like you play GTA, where you like snapping to shoot people, or are you playing like you would play Wolfenstein, where you're actually aiming?
No, I'm playing like GTA. I'm playing this exactly like GTA. I use the auto aim and all that shit, and it works beautifully.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you're not using the auto aim, it is a little like, and I get it. It's not a fully fleshed out shooter. I said that before. I still maintain that. But you can feel it at times. Like, there are points where I'm trying to shoot somebody. I'm like, God, this thing is just not fucking. Like, it is easiest just to auto snap aim.
Well, that, as I said, it's set to default for a reason. That is the default for a reason. That's the way these games are meant to be played. And if you play it like that, you're not gonna have any issues. That's why I haven't run into any, shooting issues. The only issues I have is, when I'm in an enclosed space and I'm trying to grab onto something. If I'm not in the exact right angle, Morgan will not pick up the shit, But the thing is, it's just a small thing I could overlook. That the main stuff, which is riding horses and shooting and just exploring, those are buttery to me. So I have no issues with that. But I could understand why people would say that. And I'm glad he posed this question, because here's the thing about Rockstar games. They have more, the characters have more animations than usual games. Usual games is just they pick, like, look at Fallout, for a perfect example. Fallout. There's not even an animation to pick up shit. It's just everything just kind of magically goes away. In Rockstar games, the characters actually go and pick up the shit. They loot, they go out, get on horses. I understand people may not like that because it's not fast enough, but that's the way those games are made, and the game is built around those animations. So you can't really say the controls are bad when they're built specifically around that. Maybe you don't like that, which I perfectly understand. Remember, there's a lot of people out there like you, Brett, who do not like Witcher's combat, but others think it's great. It's just a matter of getting used to it. And as a person who has been playing Rockstar games since 2001, I'm used to those type animations, specifically with the Rage Engine games, starting with GTA 4. They have a lot more animations than normal, and you just have to have to go with it or don't play the game. To be honest,
I agree, and I'm still in the same boat that I was last week, which was pretty much like, yeah, there are concessions that you have to make. I think that there's just a lot of people kind of confused about, like, yes, there are concessions, and from the outside, I think to those people it sounds like, and they're like, well, what about the clunky gameplay? And you're like, oh, but the graphics. And that's not even a
factor. Yeah, that's not even a factor for me.
That doesn't answer where you're like, oh, but the immersion and the gameplay makes up for it. Like, that doesn't it makes about as much sense as saying, oh, but the graphics. Like, it doesn't answer their question. Like, the game, the controls are clunky, and they're clunky because they favor aesthetics over function. Right, like they want everything to look good. They don't necessarily care if they have to take the controller out of your hand for a second or make something a little awkward. It's all about how it shows. It's all like a movie kind of thing. That's why if you're trying to get into the correct position, like, you miss it, you can't just turn back the other way. You have to, like, circle around 3 times like a dog laying down, looking for a spot to lay down before you finally hit the right place where you can pick up the goddamn pomade off the ground. But the rest of the time, that same kind of mechanic makes, Arthur Morgan move and turn fluidly and jump from one animation directly into another without having to stop at the default animation, which is what makes the characters look so fluid and lifelike. Again, because they're focusing on aesthetics. And yes, those things do make up for it, but I think the reason a lot of people don't seem to be asking this question is because nobody's saying this, and I will. Yes, you make sacrifices. Yes, the gameplay or the controllers are a little clunky, but they're that way for a reason. It's not that it's lacking, it's that it's taken from pile A to put into pile B, which is why you see a lot of people excusing it. Because
but it's not
more simplified.
Yeah.
You'd just be strafing around like an idiot, and it wouldn't look as good.
Yeah, but the thing is,
That's your exact problem with the old Elder Scrolls games.
Yeah, I don't like the term excuse, by the way, because to me, I'm not excusing anything. I understand how these games control, you know, because the word damage control has been thrown out there. No, it's not like that. Like the games control a very specific way.
Just because you're used to it doesn't mean they
see, but that's the thing. That's an opinion, though. I think they control good. I have absolutely no problem. I think they do control good. You know, I'm not gonna, like I've played actual clunky games. You know?
No, okay, I gotta call you out there. You've called Bethesda games clunky, and
they're very clunky. They're extremely
better than this game.
No, they don't. They move, to me, they move worse because there's no like I said, you don't even have an animation to pick up shit. You just
that's
you know,
not controls though.
But it is though, because they are controls though, because basically, like, you know, because controls are also how you feel when you're playing it, right? Like if these things are just magically disappearing and stuff, controls are all about feel. What are you talking about?
That is not control.
That's not control then.
No, you the action of you picking up an item is control.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is a control. What are you talking about? You press the button and it controls. That is control.
No, I mean the action. I mean the actual animation of the character. That is control.
That's part of it. Yes. No. Just like with the old Prince of Persia games, they were very animation based, right? That's control. You have to make concessions for that, you know?
But the thing is that, here's the thing. Even regardless, all of this is moot because of the fact that you can adjust over how everything works in this game.
Yeah, that is true.
So
yeah.
you can. So okay, you're not happy with the way this game controls. Well, you can adjust everything in it, and Adam is proof of it.
Yeah, but again, my point is even on default, which I've played the entire time, I've had no issues. Like, again, besides being inside, and Arthur needs to be in a very specific, you know, thing to like position to, you know, move, you know, pick up shit. That's when it gets a little funky. But outside of that, nah, it controls fine.
Controls by different. Like I say this is guilty of the same sin that Assassin's Creed is, where it's kind of trying to figure out what you're trying to do and make it happen fluidly. And sometimes, most of the time, that fucking works. Sometimes Ezio jumps to the wrong fucking windowsill, and then when you tell him to get down, he keeps climbing up and send and goes left for some goddamn reason. Like, we've all had those moments where, like, Assassin's Creed has just spiraled out of control. And they do that because they're doing predictive movement. I don't want to say this game is doing that, but it's doing animation locked movements. So yeah, sometimes if you're just trying to look at something down by your left foot, you kind of pass over where you need to go, and then if you try and turn right, you walk forward and right and end up like bumping into a table or bumping into a person. Like, you move like you're drunk. The fact that I can't look at something on the floor, and like if I turn too far, I can't like turn back to like lean down and pick something up without spinning around wildly and like bumping into somebody and almost getting shot. Like that is clunky controls to the point where it does affect gameplay. It doesn't make me love the game any less. But I got to be honest when I say, like, yeah, that's the fault of the game. The fact that I can't look at, like, I can't pick up my hat because I passed over it, and then I either turn around and spin around in a little circle or move forward and right and spin around in a circle like a little RC car means that I'm going to bump into somebody. And when I bump into somebody and they get pissed off at me and it starts the whole shooting, like, I have gotten into gunfights because I've had trouble picking up my hat. In fact, just last night, I had a point where I was trying to get over a railing, and he just kind of like stood on the railing and then fell face forward into a guy that was sitting there. And then the guy got pissed off, pulled his gun, and then put it back and started a fist fight after I tried to defuse him. I beat the shit out of him, and then the sheriff came by and made me leave town. I was there to do a main mission because I was trying to pick up my fucking hat, and the game just wouldn't control the way that I wanted to. I ended up in a fist fight and kicked out of town. And yes, that's a fun story, but I shouldn't have to say that because I'm so clumsy that I can't pick up a hat when I want to. So you can't say that the controls aren't clunky when they are clunky enough, at least in my experience.
They're clunky and close. I guess okay. I'm putting it out there. I don't like the use of the word clunky, but I'm going to just go with it just for the sake of argument. Yes, they don't control very well in tight spaces or when you have to like little precision things. But I'm saying you can't say the entire game, which is what people are saying, controls bad when it doesn't. You know, there's definitely little things.
They get the pass. That's where they get the pass because it's not like the shooting controls can be a little clunky and leave a little bit to be desired, but it's not a shooting game. The horse riding controls, you can't even say anything bad about the horse physics. They're fucking on point, but it's not a horse riding game. The walking mechanics and the ability to like fall down a ravine, those are all on point. But this isn't a mountain climbing game. The mechanics of interacting with people in the game are on point, but this isn't a social game. It's all of those things. You don't expect it to get 100% in.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like we said, it
gets the pass.
Yeah, because it's the sum of its parts and all that. But my thing is, I really don't like people saying it has bad controls. I don't think it does. To them maybe, not to me.
I don't say it has bad controls. Yeah. I say they're a little clunky, but that's because you're living in and there are good reasons for that, or there are good excuses for that. I know you don't like that word, but yeah, like you have to have a lot of contextual controls. You have to have a lot of buttons to do 100 different things, and there's not enough buttons on the controller.
Yeah, that wouldn't be my main complaint, because I do think like the gunplay was precise. Like I don't have any problems getting headshots. Like I did a moonshiner mission like the other night, and those guys were just coming. The Lemoyne Raiders or whatever the fuck they are. Like these old Confederate guys coming, and I was just boom, 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 popping them off like headshot there. I shot a guy off his horse, and I love it when it does the kind of sniper elite slow motion.
I love that shit.
Boom, right in the head. Yeah, that's satisfying. Yeah, well, I do understand sometimes I'm like going to loot somebody, and he does a little spinneroonie and shit. Like, yeah, but I was like, whatever.
Yeah, those little things. Yeah, like for example, I was doing this one thing where I had to pick up this big thing. Right, basically, I'm supposed to be right in the middle of it, right? But I was off to the right a little bit. What does my character do? They go all the way around and then pick it up. It's like, what the fuck? You just step over 1 inch and pick it up. But I understand that's how the games are built. That those animations are something you kind of have to just contend with. And I'd rather have those animations in there for this game. For these games, I should say, than just like I'm magically holding the thing. It's like,
and that's the crux of it.
Yeah,
you're sacrificing a slight amount of control for more immersion, and that works 95% of the time. 95% of the time it works every time, but there's still that 5%, and we forgive it because it gives us more immersion. But that doesn't mean that in the same breath we can't admit that some of the stuff about it is a little clunky.
Sure,
even the contextual controls of I was the same button to try and defuse a fleeing guy on horseback. Turns out when you get close to him, that same button leaps onto his horse and kicks him off. So 1 minute you're like, "Hey, mister, it's not what you think. Calm down." The next minute you're fucking kick him to the face and kick him off into a ravine.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Super quickly.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And also, I noticed the game does this. Like, if you're over a bunch of stuff, you can actually press R1 to cycle to the thing you actually want to pick up. But it's like, yeah, Rockstar definitely, like, again, for the enclosed things, they need to figure something out. Also,
just go into first person.
I don't like going to first person.
I just want to do it. I notice I have that problem. Like, I don't have a problem with the gunplay, but changing my clothes for some reason, it's like, all right, I want to sit on the bed. It goes, wardrobe? No.
Yeah, no. I don't want to do that.
No, don't open the drawer. Sit down on the fucking bed, man.
It's like having a retarded 2-year-old with you. Like, no, the bed. Sit on the bed. No, don't open the drawer. No, sit on the bed. No, I don't want to shave right now. Just
the original game had that too. By the way,
yeah, it did. It did.
Well, and GTA has the same shit.
Yeah, and Chris, I'm glad you bring it up because here's the question I have: where were all these complaints for GTA 5, right? And we could still say you can't, and I know you could say, oh, GTA 5 came out 5 years ago. Really? Because I see this shit on NPD every month.
GTA 5 has a bigger scale, and I think that GTA 5 was more about locations. Like, they didn't even try and do a lot of interiors and buildings for the most part.
No, they didn't. But my thing is, it's still the same exact controls. A lot of the issues that I have in this game are still in GTA 5. Where were those people complaining about this? And you could still say GTA is still a relevant game because
I'm one of those people. I will speak for those people. You can
go ahead. Do it.
And what I will tell you is, it's that there aren't as many tight and closed spaces. I mean, even in GTA, like, yeah, it's a little clunky, but the biggest space I have to worry about is like an 8-foot wide alleyway that's meant to be able to drive a car down. Like, now there's small alleyways and interior buildings, and it's in progress. Like, again, like, you can have these complaints and still be like, man, this is a hell of a game.
Oh yeah, sure.
GTA 5 still has those problems because I'll do missions where I'm on a rooftop and I'm running to the ladder and I miss the thing and he goes flying right off the roof.
Yeah.
I've had problems getting in cars where my guy will misanimate, walk around, walk to the back of the car, walk somewhere else, walk to a different car. I'm like, get in the fucking car, man, you know?
Yeah, GTA has the same issues, yeah.
Going down a ladder in GTA is one of the scariest things in that game.
Yeah, I never know if we're going to climb and just jump off.
Oh, if you guys saw my last Red Dead stream, that's exactly what happened. I'm like, hey, there's a ladder. Oh, no, I just fell to my death. Yeah, it's frightening, man.
I think they were there. They're just more prevalent now, and they're more burdensome now. But again, that's just because, you know, and people say that, but at the same time, or at least if they're like me, they're like, well, yeah, it's just though that the game has gotten better and there are certain places that haven't quite caught up as well. And one thing that I find really interesting, and maybe I do need to just go in and do my controls, like whenever I'm having a problem controlling anything, I just jump into first person. And the first person mode is exactly like you would think of it. Like it's you can walk forward, you can backstep, you can strafe left, you can strafe right, you can crouch down, like you can move with all the precision that you normally would. But see, that's the thing. Even if I had that option to make him move that way all the time, I really don't want to, because that's not how people move in real life.
Yeah, like tanks.
I've never seen somebody like crab walking down the street at a quick clip.
Exactly, you know, exactly.
It's just weird looking, and so I get why they're like, no, he's going to turn around and point that direction, and then move that direction, and then follow all these cool animations that we've done. So I wouldn't even turn that off if I wanted to, but for those of you out there who
skip to my loo down the street, what's wrong with you?
Right, I would rather do like a cool cowboy saunter. I know.
Yes.
I mean, I'd complain more about the bugs, man. Adam's had a shitload of stuff.
Oh, Adam's having a huge one right now. He basically has to start the entire game over again. You know?
The other day I had to restart a mission. I got on my horse. They're like, oh, you know, it was like a fishing mission. Got on my horse. It went into the fail thing, so your horse has died.
What?
My horse has died when I climbed on it. It was fine. I was in the camp. I just woke up, went to Hosea. Okay, let's go hunt or whatever. Boom, get on the horse. Mission failed. Horse died. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Super horse?
Huh?
Did you have the super horse?
No, it's not the super. It was just his starter horse, you know. But I take care of it. I take it to the stable, let them do the care package and shit, you know. So it was fine. It had yellow, maxed out health and shit. I climbed on it, fucking died. And the other day I went to brush it, like Arthur punched it for no reason, even though I had the prompt up. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
You know, I punched my horse accidentally, but that was my fault because I didn't have L2 held down.
Yeah, I had the prompt. It said brush, and he just whacked it.
I just forgot to hold L2.
Okay, that is a hilarious. That's worth it. In my opinion, that's the kind of bug that you're like, all right, I'm almost glad that one.
Yeah, it's funny. I haven't had any like real bugs. The only bug I had, I think I said this before. I'll say again because it's just a funny bug. Basically, I'm fighting a guy, fist fighting near a train, right? And you guys know the animation that Arthur does when he grabs somebody and pins them to a wall. So he does that to the train. I think the game was like, what's happening here? Arthur and the guy merged into one being. They're both stuck. I'm like, what the hell? So then they both like magically like start pulling away from the train very slowly. Just took like a minute. And then they magically just like unpop from each other. I'm like, oh shit. But that was like the biggest like thing. And I think I saw at the beginning, I saw like a horse walking backwards. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. But other than that, like, because I've seen some crazy like glitches people are posting online, but I haven't even experienced it. And and I'm already
GTA had those too.
GTA
totally original Red Dead had those, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel like people have a little bit of bird memory. Like, remember Puma Man or Bear Woman? Or Bird Guy,
Where
the AI of the animals got into NPC, human NPCs.
Yeah. So you see some lady on all fours running at you, like, what the fuck?
Yeah. By the way, I hope you guys don't consider this a spoiler, but I'm going to tell you what happened in a side mission because I think I was telling Manny about this, and he thinks this side mission's alluding to that or like an acknowledgement. Basically, I'm driving down the road, and you know how you hear wolves howling sometimes? So I hear a wolf howling, but it was clearly a man pretending to be wolf. I'm like, what the fuck? Did I hear a man go, oh? So I get out of the horse, and there's this naked motherfucker. I'm like, okay. And then he sicks his wolves on me, so I kill the wolves, and I chase the guy down, and I find his journal. Apparently, he's been, like, living, like, with wolves since he was a kid or something. So I get out, and the guy jumps me, and I end up killing him. So I told Manny this, and he's like, dude, that's probably acknowledging the animal people from the first game. I'm like, hey, you might be right.
Oh, that's weird.
Okay. Side tangent question. I really want to know this.
Yeah.
What is the most horrible thing all of you guys have done in Red Dead so
Oh,
far?
do I need to tell this story? I'm going to tell the
I really wanna
story.
hear it. I'll start if you want me
Yeah,
to.
Brett, I told you a story. Like, should I share it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Okay,
Okay,
I'll start
you
this
go
off
ahead.
the
You go
floor.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I came across a guy. I've been super polite to everybody, and I came across this little homestead, and there was a guy who was very threatening to me, and I tried to defuse the situation multiple times, and he pulled out his shotgun. At this point, I've been trying to be a good guy, and I had gotten into the habit of lassoing people instead of shooting them because I got sick of murdering everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he goes out, like, shoots me, also hits my horse, and I don't really notice until I finish hog tying. So I hog tie him, I look around, and I notice that my horse has like a little bit of blood splatter on him. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. So he's like, oh, blah, 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 put me inside. Or, you know, take me inside, cut me free, blah, 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 blah. So I just pick him up, and I'm like, I really don't want to take the honor hit. So I just chuck him into his own campfire and let him just burn to death and take his corpse back inside and huck it into his bed and then just left.
That's hilarious. That's fucked up. Oh, man. By the way, I had to put my horse out of its misery because I didn't have a reviver on me. I felt very bad about that. But that was in the story, so I'll tell you guys. So basically, in the game, you get these side missions where you could rob somebody's home, right? Usually they're not home, but sometimes they are, and this was one of the times when they were home. So I sneak into the home, and I hear a father and son arguing about how, like, the dad's a horrible father or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'll sneak in through the back. You know, I had my mask on and everything. I sneak in through the back. I come in, and I see this poor, like, you know, black man, black son, you know, and they're just arguing about why the dad's a drunk or whatever, and I'm just there listening. Then the son comes out. And he sees me like, oh, shit. So I pull out my gun. I'm like, I'm here to rob you. And I figured, okay, if I pull out my gun, everything will be cool. I'll take my money, whatever, right? Motherfucker starts shooting at me. So I had no choice. Shot him right in the head. Guy goes down. The son starts crying. And he's, you know, even though he's like 14 or whatever, he's still crying. Like, you killed my dad. You killed my dad. So I'm there like, oh, shit. I just came to this poor black man's home. Crazy white motherfucker. And then I felt even worse as I continued to rob the place. I could have left, but I'm like, he told me the money's in the fire. So I went to there. Then I went to his room, and he's still crying the entire time. You killed my father, you son of a bitch. And I feel harm. Like, damn, this is bad. What's in the crate over here? What's in this drawer? So like afterwards, like that mission stuck with me for an entire day. I'm like, damn, that was fucked up, Tony. Like, what you should have done is, as soon as the son saw you, you should have ran the fuck out of there. You know, but I didn't think about that. As soon as he pulled that gun, I'm like, shit, bam. You know, Western justice, man, crazy shit.
Or you could have hogtied him.
Yeah, I could have hawked. I didn't think about that. Like, as soon as I saw the gun, that was it. You know. By the way, GZDR says, have any of you guys made a snow penis or saw the ones posted? People posted on Twitter any rumors of a Bigfoot or Sasquatch in the game? Actually, we're not gonna spoil it, but the last one. There's no rumor there. I'm just gonna say that there's no rumor. Go out into the wild and explore, and you may find what you're looking for. But no, I haven't seen a snow penis. Like,
weirdly, on that note, do you guys all know about the white Arabian, right?
The horse?
Is that a horse?
Yeah.
I bought the horse. Yeah, I just bought it.
Oh, no. Okay, so this isn't really a spoiler because it unlocks literally as soon as the world unlocks. But I just found this out yesterday. If you go to the lake in the upper leftmost part of the map, there's a wild white Arabian horse. The game only spawns one. And all horses have, like, you know, controls of, like, heavy, fast, or race. Arabians specifically have their own category called elite. They're some of the best horses in the game. So you only have, like, one chance to find it and not spook it and not kill it. And if it dies, you are completely fucked. but it is a stupidly awesome horse.
Yeah, I bought the
right
horse.
away.
Yeah, I bought the horse, and I can say I never got complimented by my horse, but NPCs are complimenting the fuck out of my horse. Even you know, oh, so I'm about to spoil something, but yeah, I'm getting compliments like, that is a nice horse. They're like, yeah, that is a nice horse. The horse is fucking awesome, dude. It's at level 3 right now, bonding, and it's the best horse I have. I could just imagine what's gonna be at level 4. You know,
dude, mine has 8 points in each.
Yeah, mine currently has 9 in each, and I'm level 3. I'm like, oh, this is gonna go all the way, isn't it? You know, crazy shit. But anyway, let's move on to the next question. It's funny, we're taking our time. We got a lot of questions tonight, but we're on Twitch now. Shit don't matter. We'll go as long as we want until we get tired. All right. So his next question from Mr. Figs is, I have a wife, a son, and I work 50 hours a week. Most people who play Red Dead 2 are adults like me. Why would developers throw in chores like brushing a motherfucking horse? I think mechanics like that, or in Spider-Man capturing 12 pigeons, etc., are busy work, and developers need to make actual good missions instead of bullshit filler that wastes our fucking time. LOL, sorry, I get pissed off about filler quests.
Yo, man,
tell me how you really feel. You know? hate.
Dude, so don't do it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you have to brush your horse if it gets too dirty because it's
no.
But
you got to think of it this way:
like it's a river.
You're getting into a river or whatever, but you're pretty much you're getting a bonus, right? Like all that happens is your stamina bar like doesn't refill as fast. Like your horse isn't gonna die. You're not gonna like get you suffer a small penalty, or the other way to look at it is you get a small bonus if you keep your horse clean. Ride a dirty horse. Fuck it. Who cares? But you don't. Literally, all you have to do is like R2, left on the D-pad, and that's literally it. It's not like it takes out a significant amount. I know time is valuable, but you will spend more time just like looking at boots than you are going to have to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it's just part of the immersion. Like you don't have to do it. Like you could do what Brett says, or you could go like I go to the stable and do the horse care. And that cleans up your horse for a while. It won't get dirty, and its stamina and health is boosted, right? And you're just trading money for the time. But yeah, it takes 2 seconds to brush your horse, so it's like, I just do it.
That's very different than collecting pigeons in Spider-Man. But again, you don't need to do that if you don't want to. You know.
Yeah, and also there's only really one pigeon mission, right, in that game, as I remember.
Yeah, there's only one pigeon.
The homeless guy.
Yeah, that's it.
To be honest, I think the friggin' drone one is the more annoying one.
Oh, the race ones.
Yeah, the Taskmaster drone killing things. Yeah, those are kind of annoying.
But the thing is, some people they like some of those things, so I don't think they should take them away. You know, like right now, I'm doing some farming shit, like actual farming. I'm milking cows and all this other shit, but that's part of the immersion, and I get Deadeye off of it, so it's still beneficial. You know.
Well, like Tony, when you wake up in camp in the morning, do you go drink some coffee?
Of course, I have breakfast and everything if I can. Like when I go to camp, usually because I usually come back at night, I have something to eat. You know, have some coffee, go to sleep. It's just part of the routine, you know?
Okay, this is what I find so weird about this. I'm the guy who likes that shit. Tony, you usually hate that shit.
Except in Rockstar games. Rockstar games are the only ones I'm okay with that.
They got the formula for you, man.
What happened?
They got the formula of like a Rockstar are the only people that can make you be like, yeah, I did some farmyard chores, shop for some boots.
Yeah, man.
Drink some whiskey.
But here's the thing. I think the way Rockstar does it is where it's not it's a burden, but it's not a burden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, here's the funny thing.
In other words, like a Bethesda, like maybe a more immersive sort of game, not Bethesda, but a more immersive game would actually make you shake your controller in a specific way to do certain things on it and make you go on the head and all these different sort of things, rather than just kind of pressing a button and just letting it go.
No, you know what it is? It's choice. I don't have to do any things. I want to do them. If the game forced me to do that, then I'd be mad. There's a very different thing. Even if you keep the controls exactly the same, just the fact that I'm doing that of my own accord makes it different than I need to do this. I think that's the key difference there. I think a lot of games force you to do some of that sort of stuff, you know? So, yeah, but I do have, I've been having these kind of routines ever since San Andreas. You get into a routine of doing things, you know. By the way, I found out something interesting about stamina in this game. If you're overweight, you're gonna move. You know, you're not gonna have as much stamina, but you're gonna have more health. If you're underweight, you're gonna have less health, but you're gonna have more stamina. So even if you're underweight or overweight, it's still beneficial to you. But I don't think you could get mega fat like CJ could.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like because I've gotten my character to be ultra skinny. Like you could tell they're skinnier, but it's not like crazier. Like basically, like the bandolier, you can see through it if they're skinnier, but it's not like they're malnourished or something. Same thing like with like overweight. Like I got Arthur, like he looks like a fucking wrestler and shit. He doesn't look fat. He just has this big like barrel chest and shit. But yeah. I don't. Again, you can skip most of that shit. All the side stuff in Red Dead, you can skip all that if you want to. So if you feel it's a waste of time, then don't do it. Simple as that, bro.
And then you can do like Chris does, just have somebody else fix up your horse for you. Yeah. It's almost like going and get your weapon serviced, which you probably have to do in that game too, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But the thing you don't have to do, you can do it yourself. Yeah, oil that shit up. That's it. And again, you don't have to do that.
Well, gunsmith and have it done too, right?
You can do that too. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's exactly what I do. Like Manny says, like I just go in the gunsmith, put my gun on the table. It's like, dude, this doesn't look so good. So clean it. I just pay him to do it.
Yeah,
and that's done. I don't have to do it.
By the way, I put so many hours in this game. Today was the only day I realized that you could have the gunsmith clean the gun for you, because I've been doing it on my own. Because I never actually customized my weapons until today. And if you bring him a rusty weapon, he's like, "Hey, can I clean that up for you?" It's like, "Yes, sure."
Yeah. Well, I customize all my guns. That's how I knew he cleans them.
Yeah, I made all my guns gold and shit.
I'm sure we all have different ways that we approach it too. Like some people clean their guns methodically, like they do in real life. Like the way I personally do things is I'll go out in the prairie for like do a bunch of missions, and I'll be out there for robbing stagecoaches and stealing shit. And inevitably, whenever I'm almost to my next mission, I find a really nice stagecoach defense, and so I have to take it all the way back across the map. So I'll be out there for a 2-3 hour game session, and then I'll just roll back into town, like sell off all the shit that I have, take my earnings. I'll be all grizzled and fucked up, and I'll be like, all right, back in town, go back in, get my weapon service, get a little new addition to that, go to the hotel, take a bath, get a new hat from the general store, and then go drink whiskey. And then I head back to the camp after that, and I kind of do it all again. But I bet you there are some people that like to ride back into town after every mission, or service their weapon regularly in the camps that they do in the prairie. Like I only build camps to cook most of the time, but you can sit there and has anybody actually sat there and made the split whatever ammo?
Yeah, I've done some of that.
You can just sit there in a camp for like watching the sun go down, like working on making ammo and cooking venison. Some people do that. Some people just go into town and order stew.
I do both. It depends. If I'm close to town, I'll have them cook for me. If I'm not, when it gets to night, I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm going to find a nice spot, and I'm going to camp out for the night. I do that all the time, because I don't want to be doing crazy shit at night, even though some good stuff does happen at night too, but it's a rhythm you get into,
But it's your rhythm, and that's exactly the cool thing. Like it's not a rhythm that Rockstar's like, you have to do this, and then it's not like you have until nighttime, and then the game auto teleports you back to camp, and then you wake up in the morning and you have to do all these chores in time to like. That almost sounds like a Metal Gear kind of approach, But this is more of a, well, I mean, do you want to go back to camp? Do you want to spend the night on the range? Do you have food? No, you don't have food. Well, there's deer over there. It's just. You get into whatever rhythm that you want to do. And so like Tony has a very night and day cycle. I have a kind of like leave on a quest, come back a week later, leave on a quest, come back a week later. I'm like Dad of War.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, but the cool thing is like, you're allowed to I'm Chris, like, how do you play? I'm curious.
Oh, well, when I do a job, usually what I do is when I finish a mission, I'll either go back to camp where I can like change my outfit and shave. Like I know you guys like your mountain man. I keep Arthur looking like the fucking Marlboro Man, dude. He could go on TV clean shaven and shit. And then I'll go to town when I get some money. I'll treat him. So I'll go drink at the saloon, go to the barber, get a haircut, have him put pomade in my hair, go get a deluxe bath. I just I get the full service, get a meal.
Yeah,
I'm actually not a mountain man, and I realized because I went to the menu yesterday and I was like, "Who the fuck is this old prospector-looking motherfucker on my menu screen?" Oh, that's Arthur. That does not look like my Arthur. Is clean-shaven with big mutton chops, a shaved head, like a trilby hat, like a high collar shirt that's unbuttoned, and like a black and red paisley vest, and like a shirt sleeves rolled up with fingerless gloves. I'm straight out of the movie Snatch.
Yeah, my whole goal was I want to be more beard than man. That's my goal. Like I just want to, because I'm doing this vicariously because in real life I cannot grow a nice beard like that. So I'm doing that through the video game character. I want to be like, "Whoa, look at my beard." You know what I'm saying? Like a beard so thick it makes my voice thicker. Like that's the kind of beard I want. You know, it's crazy. Maybe I like that. It's like, but here's what I usually do. Yeah, like
his hair grows too.
Yeah, man. Oh, my hair is all the way grown. Yeah, man, my hair is all the way down. You know, it's crazy. And it's funny because like the way I have my character looking now, like they look like they're straight out of like the movie Tombstone. Like basically have that nice fancy black vest, the white shirt under it. They got the belt buckles and all this other shit. You know, I look like what's it? Not Sam Elliott. I forgot. Yeah, well, I look like Wyatt Earp basically. Like, I look fucking.
You mean like
no, not Wyatt Earp. What was the name of his older brother? You know what I'm talking about. I forgot the name of the actor. Sam something. I look like him. I inadvertently made him look like that. You know, it's kind of
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. I look like Sam Elliott. I'm like, oh shit, I look like Sam Elliott.
Hey,
like,
I'm Sam Elliott.
Yeah, I'm like
post pictures of our Arthur to the group channel thing, whatever the fuck that is on PlayStation.
What happened now?
The group that we're all part of on PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Oh, everybody, we should all post a picture of what our Arthur Morgan looks like in there.
By the way, somebody made him look like Revolver Ocelot. It was just fucking amazing.
I sent that to Tony the other day. I was like,
funny.
Brett,
like
he looks just like him, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah, because also if you know that Revolver Ocelot was like blonde, so Arthur Morgan is blonde. So he looks just like a young Revolver Ocelot with the curly mustache and everything.
It's awesome. All right, let's move on here. Hashling and Slasher. He goes, is Red Dead 2 in your top 10 games of all time list now? Why or why not? Kind of similar to a question he asked us before. I think a little too early for that, and this is what Brett said. That's a good point. Our top 10 games are already embedded within us because a lot of them are, have nostalgia value. So it's hard to for a new game to top it. But I need to sit with this game a little bit more before I can make that proclamation. But I am already like considering like this may be my game of this generation, so it could theoretically be in my top 10 of all time, but I need to play with it a little more. I need to let it sit. I need to let it sit a little longer, if you know what I mean. Ask me again in a year or two, then I'll and we haven't even played the online yet. That could be fire. So
the online is what'll cinch it, because for me as of right now it's no.
Yeah, right now I'm already like, this is my game of the generation. I'm already saying that. So the online could only make it better. You know what I mean? Like I'm already on that tip.
All I ask about Red Dead Online is if I can make Red Harlow from the original Red Dead game.
Yeah, like when we played in this room, it's gonna be fucking epic, man. It's gonna be Monster Hunter times 10.
Oh man, that'd be so good.
Yeah. All right.
Are we gonna have Chris be our watch or Carlos be our watch?
I don't know. Watch. I'm just gonna kill motherfuckers. I don't know.
No. We need to have a point man running out front. That way, if he hears anything, he just go damn.
Yes, it's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna guess this is not in everybody's top 10 just yet, right?
What's a Red Dead?
You haven't even played it yet. That's right. Amazon screwed you over. They still haven't gotten you shit.
Amazon to figure out when they want to send it to me.
Oh shit, dude!
Wow,
this is
it's been a week. It's been a week. That's fucking crazy.
They're like, you can either get a refund, because they're like, even the Amazon site says, yeah, this is taking a lot longer than we thought it would be taking. Do you want to replace it or a refund?
Wow.
Just get a refund and download that shit.
I don't want to download that shit. Fuck that.
I do. Just go to like Walmart or something. That's what I did.
Yeah, man, you get your money back and just buy it physically somewhere else, man.
That's what I did for Bloodborne.
I got my special edition coming.
Man.
Oh, they got you.
They got you. Yeah, they got you.
Coming.
Actually, just get fired up tomorrow. Call their support. And
I'll call.
That's what I do.
Some bullshit. And the next question, we already answered this like a month ago, so we're not going to answer it again. What are your game of the year contenders so far? You know what? We're going to wait till the end of the year now to answer this, because yeah,
Like everyone, like every episode, it'll probably change. Like,
like I know
you can't ask me right before Fallout comes out.
Yeah, like basically, that's a good question to ask us every 3 months. That's perfectly fine. But you literally asked us like a month ago, so let's wait until the actual end of the year for the wink, wink, wink end of the year special. All right, we're gonna get to Illustrated Yo. He actually asked a very long question. So I hope you guys don't mind. I'm gonna read it all. But Dio, next time, please, brother, calm it down, man. Okay.
He wants to know. He wants to know.
Okay. But it's a very interesting thing I never considered. Okay, he goes, after spending a week and a half playing Red Dead Redemption 2, I've realized this title takes on a more serious tone than any other Rockstar game I've ever played. This title is my introduction to the series, and I'm thoroughly enjoying everything available to me as I progress through the campaign. Not a question, but I want to address this. If you didn't play the first Red Dead Redemption, yeah, like, that game is more serious than any other Rockstar game, barring GTA 4. But here's the thing. People complain about GTA 4 because GTA is not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like goofy and silly. No one complained about the serious tone of Red Dead Redemption because that's its own thing, you know. So yeah, just understand that Red Dead Redemption games are more serious than the typical. They still have goofy shit. Don't get me wrong, but they're definitely more serious in tone than a GTA game.
If you stay within the main story path. All the main story path stuff is all very, very serious.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I just want to point out the reason no one's complaining about this because it's its own thing. GTA was not supposed to be serious.
Well,
you know?
GTA is a
it's a satire.
It's a satire of
It
our
was.
current world.
Yeah, of American culture. That's what it's supposed to be.
Dude, you gotta admit, things changed with GTA 5. Like, it was a lot more subtle and gritty, and then GTA 5 came out, and I personally think the deal is that Saints Row was getting big, and Saints Row was just way goofy, over the top, and they were kind of the counterbalance to GTA, and GTA wanted to catch a little bit of that audience, so they pushed the envelope a little bit further. But I would say out of
I disagree. San Andreas had a mission where you go to Roswell and fight aliens.
San Andreas was like the wall. Yeah.
And they also had remember the jetpacks from James Bond movies? You had those you could use. Like, that game was already goofy as fuck. Like, basically GTA 5 was going back to basics for GTA, you know?
Yeah.
And also it's like the Saints Row series is essentially if you took a San Andreas and just went even further.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But again, by the way, that alien mission, that is not a side mission. That's a main mission in the game. You have to go to Roswell and use alien weapons.
Yeah. I was sitting there like, okay, this guy from the hood who's just trying to work his way up all of a sudden gets recruited by the CIA, lands in Roswell. That was crazy. And then GTA 4, boom, serious.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, GTA 5 is back to basics, but it's still carried over some of the storytelling they picked up in 4 and in Red Dead Redemption, you know? That's what I love about Rockstar games. Every game, even if it's not the same franchise, learns from the previous ones, you know? Anyways,
you know what I think GTA 5 learned? They learned Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor is Go ahead.
Trevor is the players.
Yes.
Trevor is what Rockstar thinks all of the players are, because that's what all of the players really are.
It's true though. Think about it like this. And this was for me. When I played GTA 4, I did not do any crazy shit because I'm like, Nico wouldn't do any of this. Like, he wouldn't do any of this. So I played as calmly as possible. GTA 5, this happened when I'm playing as Michael. Sometimes I would go crazy, because sometimes he would snap. When I'm playing as Franklin, I would mostly play it cool. The instant I got to Trevor, it would take 5 seconds before crazy shit happens, and that's me doing it. It's like that character just brings that out of you. It's like, this motherfucker's crazy. I'm gonna be crazy too. I'm
gonna punch the first waitress I see.
That's it, man. By the way, there was no reason to dress up Trevor, because usually when you get control of him, he's fucking naked in a field somewhere. Yeah. And you know what? I didn't bother putting clothes on him. Like, okay, you're gonna be naked now. You chose that, buddy. Oh man! All right, so let's get to his actual question. Very interesting here. Okay, I reached Chapter 5 in Red Dead Redemption 2 and feel this game hits a lot of similar key points to that of Metal Gear Solid 5. Topics I expected Metal Gear Solid 5 to tackle based on the promo trailers, which were never fulfilled in the final product. Topics such as being outlaws, slave trading, racism, leadership, and becoming public enemy number 1. To each of my homies on tonight's cast, do you think Red Dead Redemption 2 is currently a more solid story than Metal Gear Solid 5 based on its character development, story progression, and gameplay? Is Red Dead Redemption 2 relatable to a different game you've experienced? Very interesting how you kind of seeing Metal Gear Solid 5 in this. I didn't.
I think the promise of Metal Gear Solid 5, and the big promise, is the point where you get to see your character you get to see this character, Big Boss, become the villain, which never really gets fulfilled.
Yeah, let me just finish this last part just to put a little bit more context on it. He goes, Red Dead Redemption 2 is relatable to Metal Gear Solid 5 for me to a certain extent. Pretty much the story elements that were missing from Metal Gear Solid 5 were relatable and fulfilled in Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay and story-wise. Very proud of Rockstar and Take-Two for pushing the envelope for their latest title. So I can now say, referring to Manny here, that I do not need Metal Gear Solid 5. I had Red Dead Redemption 2 for that. Very interesting.
That's, I mean, I've already, I said, you know, as soon as this one, I was already good with Metal Gear at Metal Gear 4. Every single previous next one was just a, you know, hey, okay, that's good.
Yeah, he's saying that this game fulfills all his needs for Metal Gear with the exception of the bipedal nuclear tanks. But here's the thing. Okay, Rockstar, they had 8 years to do this game. Obviously, the story's going to be perfection. Kojima was pretty much forced to rush fucking Metal Gear Solid 5 out. That's why the last half of it just falls apart, you know? So it's kind of unfair to compare a game that had, you know, developers had all the time in the world to make perfect versus a game where they was like, get the shit out the door now. This costing us too much fucking money, you know?
I also think that in a lot of ways, you know, I don't think that, I mean, then again, it could just also be the way, the studios were telling him to do things. But I also think that I think it's a little bit difficult. To be honest, it seems like in a lot of games, it's not that many moral quandaries that happen. You know what I mean? I don't think, to be honest, I don't, looking at Metal Gear Solid 5 and the way it was supposed to, you know, some of the things that it should have, the deeper topics it should have handled, it was in a sense somewhat of a safe bet where it's like, okay, you don't get to see the guy who becomes villain. You don't get to see that, you know, even though countless times throughout the Metal Gear Solid series, they've mentioned that there's child soldiers. In fact, Raiden was a child soldier, even friggin' Sniper Wolf was a child soldier. So he had all these kind of, really questionable things that have happened, but they never really tackle them, Yeah. So I don't, to be honest, I don't think for a Metal Gear game it would ever have done that, and just for probably for the plain reason, maybe because the big studio didn't want to go down that direction, or you essentially play you essentially having you play a pretty much morally almost villainous character.
Yeah, but to answer the question, it's a better story than Metal Gear Solid 5, but that's not fair because Metal Gear Solid 5 was kind of forced to get out the door quickly, whereas Rockstar had all the time in the world to make the story perfect, And
the big difference between Rockstar and maybe a place like Konami, it's like, they're...
Rockstar sets its own rules, man.
They set their own rules. They don't even do E3 in a sense. They say, no, this is how we're doing it. And it's amazing that how Take-Two just lets them do what the fuck they want. Because in normal situations, when a company, like when you say companies like Activision, a certain company called Blizzard, who's really calling the shots in those situations. It's not Blizzard. I can tell you that one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Rockstar brings in all that money. Take-Two's probably like, do what you need to do, man.
Yeah, do what you need to do. You make these games. So
that's crazy. All right, man. Next question I'm throwing in now because it's also about Red Dead from Mr. All Day Digitals. So he goes, I got a question. Do you guys ever feel like taking your gang members out on missions with you at will? I know I do, especially when you feel like you created a bond with that. We were just talking about that the other day. We were like, yo, it would be cool if you could bring your boys with you, Didn't
they advertise that you were going to be able to do that?
No, they did not. They did not advertise that. But the thing is, you could do that in GTA 5, and actually, you've been able to do that ever since GTA San Andreas. So kind of weird that you can't. But then you couldn't do that in Red Dead Redemption 1 either. So maybe that didn't transfer over. But it would have been cool. It's like you have all these guys in your camp just hanging out, doing nothing. Let's go on a mission.
I think. I mean, this also is going back to Dio's question. I also feel like with the reason why he probably gets a bit of a Metal Gear situation out of it is because essentially the camp is like your mother base, and you can upgrade portions of it and make things better for the people inside of it.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that's probably why he's made that sort of mental leap between the two. And I think that also, just like Metal Gear 5, it's like you want to be able to take the cool characters that you've made bonds with you, but you can't. unfortunately.
Yeah, no, yeah, they would be nice, but for most of the missions, you do go out with your posse, but they select them for you. You know.
Yeah, but like, yeah, what if you had like a side mission and you want to like, hey man, I
Yeah.
want to take John Marston with me, you know?
Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, you know, I think we talk about that on air or off air, but I know we had that discussion and we all were like, yeah, that would be fucking cool.
Yeah, I think we did say that last episode or so.
Yeah, I think we did. All right, moving on here, Mr. Black Metal Gamer. So he goes, if Red Dead Redemption 2 got single player DLC expansion, what area of the United States would you like it to take place in? What nods or Easter eggs to Westerns or old American folklore would you like to see the game have in it? For example, maybe fight Billy the Kid or meet John Wilkes Booth someplace. Here's the thing about these games, they're not Assassin's Creed. You don't meet real life historical people. These games, they take place in fictional states and cities and all that. So you're not gonna you'll maybe see an allusion to some of these characters, but you're never gonna have a case where you're gonna see the actual Billy the Kid. That's not gonna happen in these games, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, from what they're suggesting, that the world of Red Dead is the world of San Andreas.
Yeah, it's the past of San Andreas, exactly. And as far as what area of the United States, to be honest, like the game has all the Western stuff you would want in it. You got the fucking mountains, you got the deserts, you got the forests, you got the swamps, you got all that shit, you know? So I don't really feel like, oh, they should do this. But at the same time, I was thinking about DLC expansion because remember the last one gave us Undead Nightmare, and there is a side mission that alludes to maybe aliens are there. How about an alien DLC? The Wild West is being invaded by fucking aliens. Some, you know, War of the Worlds meets Wild West. That'd be fucking cool.
Officially, if you've ever read the original War of the Worlds, it was the Wild West.
But that's what that was in England. That wasn't the Wild West at all. That was in England. You
know,
it
was in that time.
But that's why I specifically said War of the Worlds. You know, because they took place in like 1880s or something, right? You could do that with this. That'd be fun. That's what I want in the expansion. I want some fucking alien invasion. Imagine trying to go up against an alien with a six shooter and shit. And hold on, I just fucked myself up right now. These guys with alien weaponry. Yeah, do that. That'd be cool, man. Do that. Because you can't do zombies again. That'd be, you know, played out. You know, they did that already. Do aliens. Do the other extreme, you know?
And Undead Nightmare came out in, like, October.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, it came out at the perfect time when, you know, very close to the time when Halloween came.
Exactly.
It was a nice powder keg.
Yeah, so no, I think as far as, like, the what about you guys? Because to me, it's like you don't really need to add any real-world stuff. It's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to allude to it, but it's not supposed to be that.
Oh, I think an add-on like Undead Nightmare would be good. The alien stuff sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I also would love that, you know the mission I'm talking about, Tony, with Francis Sinclair.
Yes.
So I don't spoil anything. Like, imagine you explore deeper in that, or imagine there's some time travel.
Oh.
So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, because with the DLC, you could go crazy. They already went crazy with the zombies. Let's go fucking nuts. You know,
which, by the way, this is not a spoiler. In one of the shops, that stupid green mask that caused all the zombies is in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's in a shop, sitting on the shelf.
Oh shit!
And then there are people that talk about it too.
That's
like,
what's your shit?
There's this weird mask.
Better be careful with that mask. You know, but yeah, if you want to see, by the way, Assassin's Creed Western would be interesting. You know, then you could have those guys in there. You know,
they kind of already have all the damn mechanics in there already. You already ride a horse. You already do all those things. Just Western skin.
There you go. There you go. All right, moving on here. No more Red Dead questions. Okay. What canceled games really bummed you out, and/or what canceled games would you like them to bring back? Yo, man, come on to say the obvious one. Scalebound.
Yeah, I kind of want to see Scalebound. To be honest, it's sad that one got nixed.
Chris, I'm gonna steal your answer and Brett's answer too. Star Wars 1313.
Yeah, man. Shit.
You know.
I mean, come on. Is Star Wars Legacy so burned by Battlefront 2? That's it. That's where you leave it off. Loot box hell.
You know. And wasn't there supposed to be like a Mega Man fucking first person shooter like Maverick Hunter X or something?
No, there was yeah, like a kind of a realistic looking one where it was like it was set up like Metroid Prime kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it was a first person shooter and Mega Man looks like a man, like he looks a little more realistic.
Yeah, he looking like a man.
He looking like a man. No, but yeah, there was that. There was also there was quite a bit. I don't know. I mean, there was also Mega Man Online, which they announced kind of.
Oh yeah, Mega Man Legends 3. That got
yeah, that one got killed.
Solitary Zombie says agent. I didn't want to say it, but yeah. But does that game even cancel?
I mean, do we even know what the fucking agent was?
No, I don't even think it's canceled.
It's a logo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What other games? That were
down count.
Which one?
Deep Down.
I don't. It's
that
not
wasn't canceled as much as abandoned.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it in there. Why not? I think that game turned into Monster Hunter. I don't know.
I mean, like because they were supposedly designing an engine for that thing. Like, what happened?
I know. I got one. The real Legacy of Ken game they were making, the real one. That they fucking canceled. Bastards. Yeah. They said we got that Nosgoth nonsense. You know?
because the other part of the game was just not ready or at a point that they
apparently they had like 11 versions of this game at one point, Legacy of Kain / Soul Reaver, and they just canceled all of them.
Oh, shit.
Like fuck, man, come on. There's even a prototype out there too. It's like, come on, guys.
Yep, the prototype's out there.
Yeah, I'm kind of blanking, but I know there's a bunch of other games like, oh, that would have been cool if it came out. It never did.
I mean, to be honest, if you think of one of the biggest ones that actually was a game that canceled, that got resurrected, was actually Red Dead Revolver.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It came back.
We wouldn't have the Red Dead series because that was a game that was being done by Capcom.
Yeah. Brian, help us out here, man. Any canceled games you want them to bring back?
I guess PT. Technically, big one in the room. Yeah, that's about it. I'm trying to think of what was that game that eventually became Fuse? Like they showed off the trailer, it's like really nice, really poppy, and then they turned it into Fuse, that really shitty game.
I know what you're talking about. But was it originally called Fuse? Like originally?
No, it's called something else. And then they debuted that trailer, and then they later turned that into Fuse. And everyone's like, "What the hell is this?"
Isn't that was that the Sucker Punch game? Or
no, I know exactly what he's talking about. Like Fuse was originally this really like stylish type of game, really fun looking,
Yeah, made by a game that made Sony titles. It wasn't. Maybe it was.
It was Insomniac. It was Insomniac.
Yeah,
it was Insomniac. Yeah,
that game.
Oh yeah, bring that back. It would have been better than Fuse. There's a bunch of other ones, but I'm blanking out right now. All right, we'll move on here. Back to another one from Spacey's Pleasure Yacht. Were there any consoles you missed out on as a kid or teen that then played years later when you were grown up? Brian, I'm going to you first for obvious reasons. So the rest of us are a bunch of old bastards.
I'd say the N64. That's one of the consoles that I would want to go back on. But fortunately for me, Nintendo has provided a way us to play these games. So yes, thank you very much, Nintendo. So yes, I will be trying to look into games from back then.
Yeah, and what about Super Nintendo or anything? Did you ever play with any of those?
A bit too far for my liking.
All right, so N64.
Maybe go back and play like Street Fighter 2, as that's like the game that all Street Fighter guys just talk about it like constantly. So see what that's about.
Yeah, but for Chris, what system did you miss out on? Didn't you own them all, basically?
Me? I missed out on, just in the stream, I missed out on TurboGrafx 16. Now, granted, I was very happy with Genesis. I was very happy with Sega at the time. So I was like, what? I don't need this shit. And my cousin had Super Nintendo. My buddies had Super Nintendo. So I didn't miss out on that, really. But I kind of going back now, shit, I wish I had a TurboGrafx. Now, that shit is hard to find. I have gone to classic game shows. I've gone to garage sales. I look for, Chris and I go to old school game shops and auctions and shit. We can't find it.
That's crazy. So, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about the scarcity of that damn thing. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, did not sell well back
I
in the
mean,
day.
and then to quote Adam, pretty much the best handheld they've ever made, because that game literally that console actually played the 16-bit games on their handheld.
Oh, the Turbo Express,
Yeah,
which is
Turbo
even
Express was
harder
fucking
to
awesome,
find.
yeah.
The Turbo Express was literally played the games exactly as they appeared on the game console.
Yeah, here's the thing. For me, all the consoles I would have wanted to play that were out when I was a kid or a teenager, either I owned or my friends owned. The only one that I never got to play, and Manny, I don't know if you did, the Neo Geo was the only one. I didn't know anybody that owned that shit. You know,
Robert had it.
Did he run? Cause he had a fucking Jaguar. I don't know if he had a Neo Geo.
Yeah, he had those shit that we never had. Like,
yeah, that motherfucker. He never told me about that because he's like, oh, look at my Jaguar. You know, let's play this.
He always had the crazy shit.
Yeah. But no, and then like, you know, the only other system I could think about is like the Atari. I didn't want to play that. You know?
I mean, I would have said the Jaguar, but I mean that's like the master class that every single kid who wanted to own. But that thing was like so expensive at the time.
The thing is, like, when I saw the Jaguar, there was never like a system that I wanted as a kid. Then I played as an adult. That didn't really happen. You know, again, I had access to all the systems with the exception of the Neo Geo.
Or the 3DO. Well,
I had the access. I went to your place all the time.
I played to play it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, man. So I didn't really miss out on anything. Brett, what about you, man? You had everything too, didn't you?
Everything. I didn't have a Jaguar, didn't have a Neo Geo, didn't have a Saturn, but none of those things really lived long enough for me to really regret not having.
Yeah. I think we're just too old for that, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, we were there when these things were actual new games, so yeah, the question doesn't apply to us all that much.
Yeah, that's why I went straight to Brian. I'm like, I think he's the only one who could actually answer this in the spirit of the question because we were there, we lived through it, you know. All right, next up, G Megaforce 123. So this is an interesting one. He goes, why is the Sony censorship thing such a big deal? Sony isn't the government. Developers could just release their games on different platforms if they wanted to. What's even crazier about this whole controversy is that the content that that's getting censored has absolutely no gameplay related effect. All right, for you guys who don't know, I didn't know about this until he asked this question. Apparently, Sony has a new policy that censors what they figure are risque games. Basically, a bunch of those, you know, crazy anime hentai games, you know, that borderline on hentai.
No, they are definitely censoring. Like, there's been screenshots of them censoring content. Like,
well, no, I'm not denying it. Like, Sony is doing this. So, Brian, it sounds like you know more about this. So, what's going on with this new policy now?
Sony's back on the bullshit again. I don't know why, but they feel like they want to censor content based on the grounds that they have described, and they are pretty much enforcing this on developers. And it's not censoring the game full out on all platforms. It's just only on their platform. And they've not really given a good excuse. It's just been a lot of like not really answering the question. One of the PR guys, when I asked like, hey, like, why is it that you're censoring this game? And this feature was in Senran Kagura, the previous one. The PR guy just comes out and says, if we didn't change the game, then you wouldn't buy it. And that's like, but you're not changing the game, you're just removing a feature that was there in the previous one. Like, explain that, and they didn't explain that. So these guys, someone out there is censoring or is forcing developers to censor their games on their platform, and no one knows exactly why they're doing it, but it's really becoming not a problem, but it's really just a thing that people just don't know why it's happening, and it's kind of dumb. And even some people have turned around and said that, like, okay, cool, then I have no reason to buy games on PlayStation now because I don't want my content censored. Like, I want the ability to choose what content I expose myself to, which is fair enough. So hence, people have turned around and said, I'm not going to buy this game on PlayStation anymore. I'm going to buy it on Switch or on PC. And I'm like, that's a fair play, you know? Like, you don't like how a company's doing the business, then you don't have to buy from them.
Yeah, my thing is, like, Sony is, you know, let's just be honest, Sony's the only place that puts these type of games out. So why the hell are they trying to censor them? It's like, okay, it's like, yeah, you can't, like, you know, you could say, okay, just buy them somewhere else. Where are you going to buy them? You ain't buying them on Xbox, and you may get them on PC eventually. So I think this is a really bad move on Sony's part. It's like, Sony, this is, like, I know it's a niche audience, but they're very loyal. They like these type of games. Don't do this. This is not good at all.
No, the only reason that people know that they haven't censored is that these games are out on other platforms.
They're
It's
also,
like they've seen like the Switch
they're in
version,
another country
like
like
the PC
Asia.
version.
Whoa, hold on. Go ahead, Brian. Say that again.
Yeah, these games are on other platforms, and that's how they know that they've been censored because they see the comparison. They're like, hey, like why is this game on PlayStation have all these like light rays coming from nowhere, whereas the game on Switch has none of that crap? Like, what's up with that?
Interesting. See, I thought it was like they were comparing the Japanese version of these games.
No, he's
yes.
right. They showed the Switch, Xbox, and PS4 version. The PS4 has these like light rays over the girl, like covering her. Like it looks, the censorship is obscene. Like you can barely see anything.
I saw that, Mike. No, listen, no. If I was in a situation, I'd be like, I'm buying. I don't give a fuck if there's no trophies. I'm getting that shit on Switch because I don't want that shit compromised. Fuck that, you know.
So Sony is being more puritanical than Nintendo is.
Yes, think about that.
Nintendo's not censoring it.
Think about that. Now, that's not good, Sony. That's fucked up. You know, that's not good at all. It's like you're basically telling people, oh, go buy the game somewhere else. That's basically what you're doing. You know.
Yeah.
That's stupid. That is retarded. You know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's the Sony hubris. It worries me.
I don't know if it's hubris. I think it's other forces that I don't want to say on air, but I think they're getting.
It just makes no sense. It's like the platform has like a parental controls thing, right? I'm sure that the PS4 has like a parental controls thing
it
where
does,
you so that the console doesn't play certain games, but yet they still have to enforce that their version gets censored. It makes no bloody sense.
It really doesn't. That's stupid.
It's definitely someone up there is probably the same type of people that think that gamers are entitled are censoring games. It's probably the same people.
Yep. That's exactly what I wanted to say. That it's that same type of mentality. This is not good. This is not good at all. You know.
I mean, it's such a weird sort of situation where, we have to. Some people feel that they have to censor games to protect certain types of people. I mean, if a game is an mature game, or if it's rated a specific way, what does it matter that whatever the content is inside of the game? You know what I mean? Everybody chooses what most of the people, the adults that buy these games, they know what they're getting into when they do these sorts of when they put these sorts of games out.
Yeah.
Like like Brian, I don't see you going like, yeah, I really want to play that Sengun Kagura game, but I'm really sensitive to the amount of lewd content that are in the game. When you're getting one of those games, you know what you're going to be getting.
No, not only do you know, you want that. That's what you want. Like, I'm just being if you're buying a Sengun Kagura game, you want to see fucking titties. Let's just be real.
They're going for that in general. These guys are going for that specific sort of audience. So why are you trying to cut down their audience because you feel that this is not appropriate? But at the same time, that is for them. But then again, maybe Sony's worried about some sort of backlash being the top dog on the camp, where it's like, okay, now since they have a bigger spotlight on them. Now it's like, okay, if they put these sorts of games out, then certain people start coming out like, hey, why would we even allow this game on there? But yet on Nintendo, they have the same game.
Yeah, and those people aren't complaining about those games. So what the fuck? Yeah, it's Sony shit is listening to the wrong people. That's what I'm going to say about that. Like, listen, your Nintendo is being cooler than you, Sony? Nah, son, that's not good.
Well, I mean, there was also the other caveat.
Nintendo's being less prudish than. Think about that. Nintendo's being less prudish than Sony. That makes no fucking sense.
I think the one thing though with the other thing about all of this though is that you remember, like, I think in a previous Kagura game, what they did was they censored the game or whatever game it was, but there was like a deal, a free downloadable content thing for it that essentially undid everything.
Wow.
I don't remember which game it was, but they put out this thing on the thing that says, okay, yeah, you can have the game as is, but you can also get this content, and then it'll just get rid of all that stuff if you want it.
So stupid, though.
Essentially the blood code in Mortal Kombat.
It's really dumb. It's based on
dumb.
like multiple reasons. Like the first one is, as Tony said, like if this game is rated for those type of people, and there's parental controls to stop people that shouldn't be buying those games to buy those games and play them, then I don't understand how censoring the game is going to make things better. It's like the people that buy those games, A, can buy those games, and B, they want to buy those games. So let them have what the hell they want. Like, is it causing a problem? No. Like these people are probably well-adjusted people that just, hey, you know what, I want something different, and let them have their nonsense. Like shit.
This is like buying non-alcoholic beer. What the hell's the point of that? You know,
or a vegan hamburger.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell's the point of that shit?
Like, why? Number one, it's like, okay, why do you want something that tastes like a hamburger?
Get a hamburger.
In general.
Yeah, like non-alcoholic beer. It's like, no, I'm not drinking that shit for taste. I want to get fucking drunk.
Yeah, because beer tastes like shit. There's some beers that taste less like shit, but it all is garbage. But why would you want a fake garbage drink?
Yeah, it's stupid.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, Sony, you fucking up.
And then the thing that like really gets me, and this is a thing that I just don't understand about like just Western culture in general, is it's sexual content, not violent content, but sexual content.
Yes.
Like I don't understand how, as a society, we still find sexual content to be prudish like that. I mean, it's how the hell we're here in the first place, you know?
You know?
We all go through it. We all want it. It happened to all our parents, but yet it's like a no-no thing. Like, how is that a thing?
Gross.
You know, how? It's how we became the dominant species on the planet. I mean, God, that's what we do best.
Well, I mean,
that's literally destroy trees and have sex. That's what we humans do best.
Destroy shit and have sex.
Seriously.
But there's
7 billion of us on the planet. We didn't come here from like single-celled organisms that just like magically pop into people. Like, no, sexual content. It just breaks my mind. Like,
well, that's a deeper seated problem that has to do with religion and a lot of other things that we've inherited.
But it's still even funnier. It's like how as a species this is a thing that's a problem for us. Like, no, it's not. It's natural. It's literally natural. It's fucking nature. That's what nature does. Like, look at nature. Like, wow, it breaks my mind. Anyway, yeah, that's my rant about that side. Like, why sexual content?
Yeah, like,
sexual content, no.
But it's funny because it's like, if you think about it, it's like, okay, so yeah, like we're so let's talk about a show like Walking Dead, right? That show, you're literally able to blow people up on screen. You're like fucking pull out their guts, all kinds of shit, squeeze their eyes out. But the minute that you show a penis or some boobs or some, or a vagina on there, then oh no, you can't do that. The children.
Yeah, think of the children. Think of the children.
Watching this show.
What'd you think of the children, Manny?
Yeah, you monster.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, so what you have? So to me, I would say that's even more questionable. So you're allowing your children to watch The Walking Dead on TV?
Yeah, well, at least they that buy their kids GTA 5, you know?
Yeah, we told you about that.
I hate buying that game for my kids. Don't buy the game for your fucking kids.
Yeah, it's not a kid game.
Yeah, by the way, that happened to me and Manny. We were at the bank and we were talking about whatever the new GTA was at that point, and this woman in front of us was like, "Oh, I hate those games. My kid, I always have to buy them for my kid." I'm like, "Why are you buying those games for your kids?" We asked her that. She's like, "He wants it."
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not a kid game.
Like there's an M there, and these people that buy the M rated for game, the M for mature rated game, and then they complain the game's too violent. It says fucking M on it.
I always
people don't look at those shits though, you know.
But here's the weird thing. So like back in the day, right? Before there was the ESRB and stuff, when we were kids, I think Sega essentially enacted an age rating on there. And I remember, when I wanted to buy this game called Rise of the Dragon for Sega CD, I had to have my mom get it for me. But I feel like, I don't know, in a weird sort of way, we back then seemed to be a little bit better about that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like I was emotionally scarred by that game.
No, nobody even today is going to be emotionally scarred by those games. It's just people think they're going to be. You know, people are better adjusted than others give them credit for. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm not saying you should buy those sorts of games for your kids. I mean, you obviously as an adult, as a thinking adult, have to make these sorts of decisions and do your research into the games that you're buying for your children. But I mean, to be honest, the telltale sign, if your game says "and for mature," or if you look on the back and it says lewd content, maybe you don't want to buy that sort of game for your kid.
Yeah, and if you do buy them, don't complain about the content in there because they already gave you the warning. You know.
Yeah, there's literally a warning on the screen. It's like going to taking your kid to an X-rated film and saying, "Oh, the X-rated film has sex in it."
Yeah, exactly. It's like
That's garbage. Okay, so why did you take little Timmy to the X-rated film? Because he wanted to go.
Yeah. Oh my God, I hate that. All right, man, let's move on here. Are you okay with buying a game that you will never 100% complete? A lot of people have bought Black Ops 4 despite the fact that there are unattainable items, so it seems most people don't really care. Curious if unattainable items would be the deciding factor for you.
Unobtainable items? I'm not.
I don't know what that is. Here's, like I've always said, I always want to get 100% complete, but I've definitely, if I can't, then I'm just gonna let this shit go. Like I beat Red Dead Redemption 2. I got 85% in the story. And I think I'm good. Like, yeah, I would like to get 100%, but there's
the completion of the whole game.
Yeah, obviously, the completion of the whole game. I got 100% story completion, but yeah, like again, it's one of those things. Like I would like to get 100%, but if I know beforehand, like every time I buy a JRPG, I know I'm not gonna 100% that shit. I don't care. I just want to play the game and have fun. It's an extra thing, but it's not a deciding factor thing. That's an interesting question, though. I know, Brett, you don't give a fuck about that.
Shit, no way in hell.
For me, like I have. I mean, it's all situational. Like if I really enjoy a game, I'll try to take it as close to 100% as possible. But I usually don't. Like I do it to the point where I'm happy, and it's usually that I've to the point where I've experienced everything that the game has been giving you and all that other stuff. Which brings me to a game like God of War, the new one. There's so many like things inside of the game, and there's so many like armors and there's so many things, and like at the same time it's a little bit overwhelming. Like I don't exactly feel like I should that I need to get every single armor because they kind of don't matter.
Yeah. But again, it's nice, but it's not a necessary thing. But with that said, I do know guys that, for example, if they know that a platinum or whatever is going to be hard, they'll just skip the game entirely. Like, oh no, I don't want to deal with all that shit. So there are people like that, but I'm not like that. I'm guessing most of the guys in this room don't care about that stuff either.
No, if I can get the platinum, I can get the platinum. If I can, I can. It's not a full-on selling point for me to get a game.
Yeah, and as I'm getting older, I'm kind of less caring about that, mostly because I just don't have the time anymore, Like, I would like to play Red Dead Redemption 2 again, but, I got other shit to do, man, Yeah,
I mean, to be honest, like when I get Red Dead Redemption 2, I'll probably play it to the point like I had played the original Red Dead. I never got the platinum in it, but I did manage to get every single thing that I wanted to get in the game.
Yeah, and that's what I did. I did everything I really want. Like the only things I have left to do are like hunting missions. I'm good. I did all the main stories and I did all the main side missions.
There'll be plenty of time to hunt in online mode. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
That's at least how I feel. Like all the grindy, time sinky stuff. Like if you're gonna do it, we'll just do it in online mode.
Well, that's a good question. Does that but it doesn't carry over though, Brett. That's the thing. Like the shit you do online doesn't carry over to the single story and vice versa.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like so, in the point that you're at, where you're like, I just have a bunch of hunting to do. Like, why not just do that all that fucking hunting online?
You don't know if it comes over.
Yeah, it doesn't come over. It probably won't come over. That's the problem. So I probably won't do the hunting online either because it doesn't transfer over. I'm not gonna get anything out of it.
Accept stuff online.
I mean, I guess, but I didn't do that in GTA 5 either. I didn't decide, hey, let me go collect all this shit that they have online either. I just go in there and kill shit.
No, I mean for like raising money and shit. Like you'll have to do a bunch of once you beat the story mission, there's the activities, and those activities are the same activities that are pretty much going to be in the online version. So you can run around and do a bunch of activities where it's not going to have a whole lot of consequence, where you can do those same activities in like a week or two, and it'll have consequence towards like building money for your online character, so you can buy outfits.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because
like
I'm thinking like what I do online is not gonna transfer over, to the single player portion. Because I would still like to get 100% in the single player, but it kind of sucks that progress online won't transfer over, because it would be a little bit more fun to hunt with you guys and then have that transfer over in my single player game. But that's not the case. Understand?
I bet you it'll be a different set of trophies. I bet you there'll be new
Oh
ones.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
They're on there right now. You
yeah.
can see them.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the online trophies are like kind of easier to obtain than the single player ones. It's just a matter of playing them. Yeah, for sure. But even then, even though I'm probably not going to get the platinum for this game, if I get 85% or 85% trophies, I'll be happy. That's a passing grade, right? And I barely passing, like a good passing. Like, yo, man, you did some good shit there. But yeah, we're gonna
all the things that I think are fun, and then I move on because it's not a job. I paid to be here. I only do the, it's like I only eat the dessert and then I move on to the next place because I fucking can, because there's enough content to do that.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we're gonna go ham, man. We're gonna go ham on that online, man. And it's this month actually, so get ready. Anybody that already bought the game is eligible to be in the open beta, not closed. So get ready. And I still suspect it's not going to be one of those things where they just have it open for a week. I think they're going to leave it open until it's actually finished. How
about those that don't have a game? Can they still jump in the
No, you still need the game, obviously.
That's bullshit.
That's the case for every online beta, to be honest.
No, not if it's an open beta. If you don't need the game to play the open beta. That's the point of making it open. It's open to everyone.
Okay. No, you're right. But for this one, it's open to the people that own it.
Oh, the Rockstar go sits on a turtle or something, man. That's some bullshit.
Get a copy of the game, Brian. That's it, man.
On PC first. Not bad. Not bad on console.
Wait till next year. It'll come to PC. You already know, son. You already know. All right. And the very last question from Mr. Cyber Dragon with another one of these questions. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. He goes, since the leak of the amount of chips Sony and Microsoft purchased for their new consoles, what do you think about the numbers, 36 and 99 million? I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Maybe we should look into it really quickly.
I probably should have looked into it. I was playing Red Dead. Brian, do you have any idea?
I'm guessing some sort of SoC chips. That's probably my guess.
Yeah, I get. You know what? Fuck it. Let's look. Go ahead, Brian. Well, let's look into it now.
Let's look it up.
Yeah.
Do we know which company bought which? Because 33 and 99 is a big disparity.
Yeah,
so,
I don't know. But with 39, 36 and 39 and 99, what the fuck is he talking about?
I guess
I think
SoC.
he's talking about a million chipsets bought for console units, or a million chipsets ordered for console units, is what I'm guessing through context. I think Manny's checking into it, so.
Yeah, I'm checking into it too. Somebody fill up time with something. I'm looking at it too. I'm guessing it's about next gen.
Yeah,
I definitely think it's a next gen question.
Yeah, we can infer that there is either there's a rumor that an order has been placed for several million chipsets for next gen. So I mean, there's a lot we can actually take off that right away. In that, and I'll probably target this one specifically at you, Chris. How far along in the process does that sort of thing come? If they've already got the specs that they want and they're now ordering chipsets, how close to market, how far through the process are they on? This has to give us a window of insight into how finished the next generation of consoles are, doesn't it? If it comes to be true.
Yeah, I mean, if they've put in an order for chips, so what AMD or Nvidia or anybody has to do is they have to make a fab line to produce the chips for them and the boards and whatever, and they ship the chips to Foxconn or whoever puts it on the board and all that shit and builds the systems. So you have to make the line, right? So you make a reference chip, a reference board, they test it, they see it looks good, they start making dev systems out of it, right? Giving it to people, or they spec a PC to what they think the matches up, and they ship those out. But to make a fab line, like it usually takes like about a year or so to get everything ready and test it, make sure it works. And then you have to get the line ready at whoever's manufacturing the final system. So I mean, if they're ordering it, then they're close, right? So that you're talking a window of like less than 2 years.
I mean, that would line up with what we've already heard. So do you think that would point more towards a 2019 or a 2020 release? Because I'm guessing that puts 2021 pretty much right out.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be around 2020. That's what I think. I think it would give them time to not only fab the chips, get the line ready for the system builds, and then get stock ready for when they finally release it.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
that,
finding anything
Me
about
either. Yeah.
I don't see anything about a leak. I looked up.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Most I see is like AMD working on with both Sony and Microsoft on next generation. AMD working on secret sauce for next generation Xbox and PlayStation.
Oh God, I don't want
These
to
are-
hear
these
that
are-
anymore.
These are the sort of sorts of headlines I'm finding on there. One of the older ones is a June thing. It's Microsoft and Sony rumored game console plans. I'm not seeing this. Maybe is this like something that showed up on Reddit, dude?
I think we've actually established through vamping that this would, even if it is news, it's kind of irrelevant news because it at 33 and 99, basically those are just the numbers of market share, essentially a 2/3 to 1/3 margin. So if this were Sony and Microsoft that they're talking about, that would make sense in a way, but it means that Microsoft wouldn't be banking on selling much. But it also puts the timeline exactly where we have as a panel have put it several times, and that next system's probably dropping in 2020. So I'd say even if it were true, it doesn't really make any difference. It just would confirm what we've been talking about, and I think we're all still pretty firmly in that boat, aren't we?
Pretty much. Hold on. All Day says that he thinks he knows what the guy's talking about. He just wants me to read the question again, so I shall do that. Since the leak of the amount of chips Sony and Microsoft purchased for their consoles, what do you think about the numbers 33 and 99 million? All right, All Day, if you know what he's talking about,
Drop it like it's hot.
I don't know what the fuck this shit's talking
the
about.
question is it stating that Sony bought 33 million chipsets and Microsoft bought 99?
I don't know.
Chipsets?
I don't know which. It's like
Yeah.
does 36 belong to Sony or Microsoft? Does 99, but like I don't know who the numbers belong to. Again, this is the first time I'm even hearing about this. And we just looked it up now. We can't seem to find anything after June. And that was all rumors.
And I think it would be crazy for either company to order that many, like 99 million. If you're talking about SoC, like that's ridiculous for an initial order.
Yes.
That seems obscene. Like I could understand you order maybe 12 to 20 million, but to say that they ordered, even for Sony with how well PS4 is selling, to order 36 million, that's like half the sell-through of the current life of the system, or a little less than half. So like you would do a more conservative order, plus it would save you money, right? Because you're going to do a revision down the line and all that shit. So these numbers seem really high.
Yeah. So I don't know. If we hear more, we'll let you know. But right now, okay. By the way, this is what All Day says. He goes, "It's based on an interview with Zaire and an analytics dude in the industry. I guess to count how many GPUs Sony and Microsoft bought." Zaire, like big gamer, small talk Zaire. I wouldn't really trust that guy.
Yeah, no, these numbers are way too high. Like now I'm thinking about it, there's no way.
Okay, so should we just call BS on this then?
Yeah, I would say just take it with a grain of salt because oh yeah,
it sounds like more like a speculation than an actual leak.
yeah. I mean
that's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, think about it. Think about fabbing a first revision console and Microsoft ordering based on current Xbox sales. Like, let's look at the reality here. Them ordering almost 99 million SoCs, which means you have to build 99 million Xbox Scarlets, whatever it's going to eventually be called.
Oh shit!
Based on that order, right? You don't fab that many chips and buy them.
Hold on. I think I know what's going on here. Okay, I understand. I understand the question. I'm sorry, dude. He's talking about current gen systems, so he's basically saying, based off the sales of these chips, is that how many systems have been sold? 36 million Xboxes, 99 million PS4s. Yeah, I do believe that if that's the case. Because Chris, you said each one of these chips is for
99 million PS4s out there, aren't there?
Yeah, there probably are.
What wasn't it like?
Remember,
I know it was
how
above
many?
80.
How many
I
are
thought it was
out?
like 174.
What PlayStations?
No, that's not right.
Are you talking about
No,
PS?
no, it's about 99 because
Maybe, yeah.
Microsoft is about 30
Yeah,
some odd
36.
million.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, sorry about that. We were talking about. You thought we were talking about current next gen. No, this is for this gen. Because remember, Microsoft doesn't give out their numbers, right? So we always have to look to other sources to speculate. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, these numbers actually do sound right to me. 36 million Xboxes sold, 99 million PlayStation 4 sold. That actually sounds 100% right to me. Or maybe not sold, just out in the wild. Let's say that.
That includes
Out in the wild.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Out in the
All
wild.
right.
Out in the wild. Yeah. Thank you all.
I
They
thought
cleared that up.
Sony had broken 100 million for some
No,
reason.
not yet. If
Alright.
if they
Yeah,
did, that would be the main topic of one of our
Yeah,
episodes.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, that changes the whole
Yeah.
dynamic. Holy shit.
Yo, thanks, Alda. He's gonna send me a PDF. Okay, so yeah, do we believe these numbers? I do.
Yeah,
What did
sure.
the PS2 sell at lifetime? 'Cause that was their
100.
highest.
It's the highest selling system of
Or
all time.
Was it
Actually,
122 million lifetime or
Oh
more
no,
than
it's more than that. Like
it was more.
Cracked 150.
Yeah.
that? 150? Okay.
As of January 2013, 158 million. So that's like 5 years old.
Still
So-
king of the mountain.
So it could be like 160, 165 by now.
Yeah, that's also
Okay,
true.
that was the number that I was thinking of then.
The last thing I remember reading, and this was a couple months ago, PS4 is still on track. It's still matching PS2 sales numbers.
Right.
know?
So lifetime it couldn't meet that. I don't think
could.
it'll beat it.
I
but
don't
if it
think
get
so either.
close.
Oh hell no.
No, hell no, it's
Yeah,
not gonna
like
beat it.
you should have cracked the Wii numbers. If you're not touching the Wii numbers, then there's no way in hell the chance you're gonna touch the PS2.
Yeah. No, I think
Like-
with this leak, I think we only sold 101 million lifetime, or maybe a little more than that by now. So I think PS4 will beat that.
All right.
That's-
By the way,
that's
people,
brutal.
because right now I don't have my dual monitor powers, so you're gonna see a little bit of the sausage being made. Because I'm gonna pull up what all day just sent me. I'm gonna get this on screen. So just deal with my bullshit here. Hopefully, I'm not gonna reveal any sensitive information here.
Yo, man, you got that game? What?
Okay. Just going by the Wikipedia's as of goddamn American dates. March 2016,
Ah, here we
101
go.
million.
Let me know if you guys can see this. This
Wii,
image, this image is a little blurry though.
Wii.
Okay.
So you could say maybe 100. Okay, maybe not. Okay, maybe like 102 by now, 103 million.
Chris, can you see my screen? Can you make heads or tails out of this shit?
Yeah, I see a screen. Console data installed base.
Is it me some
total gaming
graphs?
GPUs.
Oh no, I want Chris and Grass.
I gotta make graphs out of this. All right,
No.
He's like right now, boop, 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 it's done.
Wow, total AMD gamer GPUs, total Intel, total NVIDIA. Okay, I'm trying, but but the problem is like for the consoles they're only using AMD, so like some of these numbers aren't relevant to the console data. Like total Intel gamer GPUs, nobody uses Intel for consoles. Nobody uses NVIDIA either. Except, oh wait, no, Nintendo uses them. Excuse me, they use them.
Yeah.
Sorry, whoops. Okay, so 2018 PS4 that sold 99.18, 80, Xbox 360 88.71, Xbox One 36.43. Oh, I see. Okay, so that's the numbers they're looking at. Cumulative shipments of GPUs and gaming consoles. Whoa, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's a one-to-one thing. That looks like so total systems like in the wild really for these and it says installed base. Then this
Yeah.
is the installed base. So 36.43 million for Xbox One and 99.18 million for PS4. Shit.
I actually do have a question that I want some clarification on. With the PS4 Pro, doesn't that just essentially have two GPUs instead of one.
Can anybody answer this question?
Because again, this is just what I heard. So hence, I'm looking at the numbers, and it's like if the PS4 Pro does have two instead of one, then these numbers could be a bit misleading.
Misleading.
Yeah, how many PS4 Pros were sold? Like 1 million or something? It wasn't like a crazy amount.
I have no clue.
Yeah, at most it's got to be 2 million, Brian. So deduct 2 million out of this, and that still destroys the Xbox.
But then wouldn't that be 4 million? Because
4 million is right. Yeah. I'm not good with numbers. You're right about that. So that would be 95 million, but still murder. So,
oh yeah, I'm no way I can dispute that.
Yeah.
It's just in case of like 1-to-1 parity. But yeah, it's still quite decent.
All right, I'll stop sharing. But yeah, no, I completely agree with those numbers. Sorry, for the mistake of the question though. But yep, murder, murder. As soon as Chris said one chip per console, I'm like, hold on a second here. Yeah,
because it's an SoC, so it's CPU and GPU on a system on a chip. So yeah, it's 1-to-1 thing, right?
If that's the case, will PS4 hit 100 million by the end of the year? We still have 2 months, but those numbers are right. We may see that happen especially after Black Friday.
I think we would.
Yeah. Oh,
you guys hear that?
With the big games that have dropped this year, like there are people who are like, all right, fine.
Can anyone hear that, or is it just me?
Well,
what do you hear?
I just hear someone in the distance just saying, "Pull out your wallets." Carlos?
Yeah, that's. Oh, I know. Carlos already ceded the bet to me back in March. He's the one that, he's the one that bought God of War for the fan because he knew he was going to lose the bet, and that's a mighty lost bet because I thought it was going to be like 90 million by the end of the year, not fucking 100 million.
Yeah, and see, that's why I'm like, watch when I do all the fiscal end of year reports, they'll beat the Wii by then easily. They'll beat the Wii.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Think about it. PlayStation 4, man, it's crazy. And it's not even the best PlayStation system. That's the funny part, That's the PS2 is way better than PS4, but, it's interesting.
The market is growing, though.
Maybe. I don't know, man. That's got to be it. There's no other explanation. It has to be that,
No, it is.
Because I honestly believe in Brett. You and I had these conversations many times. I honestly didn't believe any system would crack 100 million this generation.
Yeah, you gotta give it up that multiplayer made the difference because PS2 had the best library.
Yeah.
What the multiplayer potential on now is like insane.
It's
GTA Online, Monsanto, all this shit we've been playing.
You know what it is too? I think this is something a lot of people don't really talk about because last gen, they both sold around 85 billion or so. So I went off of that. I'm like, okay, they're not going to sell more than that. But I failed to take into account the fact that both those systems, Xbox 360 and PS3, they were both hit kind of hard because of the recession we had. We don't have a recession right now. Economy's doing really good right now, So I think that's also giving people incentive to buy shit.
How many Fortnite players do you know?
Not any, to be honest.
Not
personally, I don't know any, man.
Dude, not many. Like the install base for Fortnite is mostly under 18 by a pretty huge chunk.
I don't hang out with kids.
All of those people, or a good chunk of those people, are people who have entered the gaming sphere in the last 10 years.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. It's interesting, man. Same people who keep buying GTA 5,
And also, I admit, I loved Xbox 360, but you gotta admit those numbers are slightly inflated. I mean, I bought 4. I mean, I had the meltdown, crap out, die, red ring, So.
Yeah, like if you take all the Xbox 360s that have been bought just in Throwdown alone, you could build a small house, Oh, man.
I never bought one.
Yeah, me either.
Well, Manny, you can't live in our Xbox house, though.
That's right, yeah. Well, I can't either. Okay. I never bought one.
That's okay. I have a house of PlayStations.
Yeah, that's a mansion right there. That's mansions,
With the original boxes.
By the way, shout out to Black Metal Gamer who's keeping the chat alive with his many replies. Sorry, I can't read all that, man. He goes, I feel Switch needs a power dock. Yeah, it does. It needs a lot of shit, but it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't need anything. It's selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like, with all the things that everybody feels that it needs, that's the thing. It's like it's still doing well, so they're probably not going to change much.
Not doing nothing.
Oh, dude, they would sell a power dock like nobody's fucking like. That would be their answer to the PlayStation Pro and everything like that. But they don't even need to upgrade the system. They just sell a power dock because it already runs better in handheld than it does docked.
What?
So even if you
no, it's the other way around, dude.
It runs better docked than it does handheld.
Yeah.
Does it? I thought
yeah.
Okay.
No, because
Still,
well,
make a power dock.
The thing is, obviously, it's going to run okay. It's going to run pretty good in handheld mode because everything is, when it's running
designed to it. Yeah, it's designed for that.
Designed to run in like a low power mode. So everything's look better when it's in handheld mode because most of the games are, sometimes barely reaching 1080p. But
I thought Breath of the Wild played better in handheld.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, like frame rates and stuff. Yeah, because it's not running at 1080p. Yeah,
it's running at 720 or something.
Yeah, you're right about that. All right, man, we're done here. So thank you for watching and listening. Leave us some questions in the comment section for this episode here on YouTube or over on the Coalition, and we'll answer them on next week's show. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show host, Tony Polanco. Thomas joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you later, guys. And yes, remember, Wednesday is Throwdown Draws at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be drawing, but you'll find out.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Brett Murdoch.
Hey, guys, don't forget to vote in your midterms. I don't give a shit what you vote for. Just vote.
And Brian Manjoma.
I still can't believe that gamers are still entitled, even though they're dead.
Yeah, right. They're zombies, man. They're zombies.
Entitled zombies. God damn.
Yeah, also just jumping on what Manny said. Yeah, Tuesday, we're going to have game night. I'll play probably Red Dead. And then Friday, Saturday, either me or Chris, we're going to play some shit. I know Chris is going to play Rondo of Blood for you guys.
And also, I'm going to see if I can fit in Silent Man for you guys.
Ah, yes, Silent Man. Square Enix. All right, guys. We'll see you, man, later.
Leaders.
Deuces.
Later, guys.